Hello, everybody, and welcome back for the second show of our 12-hour stream. We are here with some Tales from the Loop, which you guys have seen several times before on this show. We have a whole new cast. We have a whole new DM for this, and I think it's everyone. I think everyone except for me, first time playing this game, which is pretty dope. I think Petra, you have some small advantage because this is the same, if not similar, very similar system that we played in Ruin Nation. Over on ERP. So yeah, let's learn about the 80s that never was. So Grant, who are you? What are you doing here? And tell us about the 80s that never was.
All right. Well, my name is GrantREllis. I'm an independent content creator for tabletop RPGs, primarily 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Today, I'm going to run Tales from the Loop. I had an opportunity to play in a charity game over the holidays, except it got canceled literally 10 minutes before the game was supposed to go live. And they asked me if I could pitch hit and run an RPG with 10 minutes notice, so I did. But I was really disappointed that I never got to play Tales from the Loop. I had watched sessions previously on this channel, and every now and then when they're running it, I throw it out there. It's like, I'd love to run that game. And so Mike was like, you're running it. And I was like, I've got to do this now. Mm-hmm. So a little bit about the 80s that never was. If you're familiar with shows like Stranger Things, Tales from the Loop actually predates Stranger Things by a little bit. It's influenced by a fusion of 1980s and science fiction illustrations that were done by a Swedish painter. They're actually paintings, not illustrations. And we're going to set this campaign in the Dominion Loop, which will be set in southeastern Virginia, which is where I'm from, in the 1980s. So a little bit about Virginia in the 1980s. Virginia Beach was the fastest growing city in the United States at the time. Just outside Virginia Beach is the largest military base in the entire world. Literally, there's 7 cities that all interconnect, but they can't get along. So they're separated into 7 cities, but they're all roughly the size of one city if you combine them. Virginia Beach was home to to the East Coast Surfing Championships as well as the World Skateboarding Championships. And it was a very diverse area where you had a lot of people immigrating from Europe, Asia, Africa, etc., all during the 1980s. So it's kind of this weird melting pot within a melting pot in the United States. Some things that are going to be a little different. There's going to be high-level technology that we wouldn't have had in the 80s, such as robots, etc. Robotics, vehicles, etc. Helper robots, powerful surveillance machines, etc. However, it's important to understand that our characters don't view any of those things as fantastic. We view them as mundane, because the technology that assists everyday life is normal to us. So it's the same as a smartphone now. Most everyone has one. So we have to think of the technology in that aspect. However, there are weird things that happen and mysteries that must be solved. This is a game that focuses around children. Children are the main characters. A few other high-level points that I think it's important to go and explain to the audience is that the hometown is full of strange and fantastic things. Everyday life is dull and unforgiving and quite boring. All the adults in the game are out of reach and out of touch. The land of the loop, the Dominion Loop, is dangerous, but none of the kids will die during the game. We might get hurt, but none of us will die. Other kids can die, but our characters can't die. We play this game scene to scene. And the world is collaboratively described, which means I, as a game master, don't have sole authorship of this game. I ask the players to help set scenes, and then we play out those scenes. And every now and then we'll call for skills to help solve scenes. Failure doesn't necessarily mean we lose or we don't progress the story. It simply means a complication or a conflict happens. So that's a little bit about the game. I think I did an okay job of explaining it for never having played it before, but I will throw it back to Mike.
Fantastic. So we'll jump over to xMsGingaNinja, who is dressed the part for the 80s in childhood. So who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing today?
I am xMsGingaNinja. I run a gaming and somewhat tabletop stream. I am going to be playing Dara. She is a bookworm, and she spends all of her time in the library. Also, I didn't buy this outfit for the stream.
Yes.
I really did.
This is just out of the closet of normal things that she owns. So we'll jump over to Petra. Petra, who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm Petra. I'm a college educator, writer, nerd of many things, and this is the first time in a while that I've on this channel, right?
It's true.
So it's cool to be back.
It's been a minute.
And I am playing Grete today. She's 12 years old, and she's the weirdo of the. For Mike, probably a big surprise that I picked the weirdo.
Shock and awe.
And as Grant said, life in the loop is. Dangerous but also boring, and so Grete makes her own world. She believes that there are things out there that nobody else can see, and there are secrets that only she will be able to uncover, and that once she turns 13, which is only a few months out, she will be able to sort of see behind the veil and get the greater picture and sort of understand what makes everything tick. And in the meantime, she is convinced that the things in her environment are sending her secret messages that she can't quite figure out, but she believes that robots talk to her and that she can communicate with animals and stuff like that. And I guess the most important person in her life is her grandmother, who, by standards of the other adults, is just as crazy as Grete is perceived to be.
So you went full weirdo, huh? Okay, cool.
But I'm not going for a creepy voice. I think that would be too much easy.
Not this time.
Unique.
So last but not least, we'll jump over to Huggles. Huggles, who are you? What are you doing here? And who are you playing today?
I'm FreeHuggles. I'm also known as Sauce and Sassy in the chat today because I can't log into my FreeHuggles account, apparently. So today I don't exist. I am here because you had an open spot and I was free on a Saturday. I thought, hey, I've never played this game. It can be fun. Try it out.
Perfect.
And yeah, I'm playing Lauri who is rocker, believes that music is the answer to absolutely everything. And Mark at the music store is just the best at music ever. So, yeah.
Sweet. And I will be
Mark already.
And I will be playing Maxie Maynard, who is new in town because he travels a lot because his dad is in the Navy. So he lives just off post at Norfolk Navy Base, and his father is the captain, or Captain Maynard. And he was at least, the popular kid in his last school. We'll see how that goes here. So before we turn things over to Grant, to remind you guys, this is a charity stream. You can donate, you can interact with the chat, interact with the game, nat 20s, crits, NPCs, all that kind of cool stuff. Check the donation section down below. We've already smashed our goal, so let's see if we can double it today. And with that, Grant, take us into the 80s.
It's the 80s, do a lot of coke and vote for Ronald Reagan. Sorry.
Sums it up.
I couldn't resist. Here's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go in a little deeper with each character, and I'm gonna ask you a few more questions than maybe were described during the quick introduction here on the screen, so we can get to know them a little better. So let's start with Maxie. It was Maxie, right?
Yeah.
So Maxie, what sort of you were the popular kid, correct?
Yeah.
Now, you, for the audience, that means he's good at contacting people, charming people, leading the kids, leading other kids, things of that nature. Now, you have an iconic item. I'd like you to describe this item that you have to the audience.
Oh, no. Now I forgot the name of the movie. Grant, you know it. What's the movie about arm wrestling from the 80s?
Over the Top.
Thank you. So if you've seen Over the Top... You know that
I'm both proud and ashamed that that just falls off the tongue.
Yeah. You'll know that when things got serious and he was about to arm wrestle, he always took his trucker hat and turned that bad boy backwards. And that's how you know he was in serious mode. And that's exactly what Maxie has. He has a backwards hat that he turns from front to back when it's business time.
Man. Backwards hat. My goodness. Now, you have a problem. Go ahead and describe your problem.
So we go from base to base, and Dad is a bit of a philanderer, and he has a secret affair that that's happening that he has discovered. His older brother has discovered, but his mother has not. And so he holds a special distaste for his dad because of this.
The good captain himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a drive that propels your character forward. What is this drive?
His drive is that he hates playing sports, but it's expected of him because of his older brother, because of the way his father is, that he must be the shining athlete, because his father has to keep this persona that everything is in tip-top ship shape of his household. So he has to engage in all these activities, but he secretly hates sports and wishes to not play them at all.
Now, does he just play one sport, or does he have to play many sports?
He plays the sport of the season. So there's football, he plays baseball, and he plays soccer.
Is he one of those kids where they make him play multiple sports each season?
Yeah. Yeah, they overlap. So he'll be wrapping up one season while he's training for the next season. So yeah, it's rough.
Is it his job to make sure he gets to practices on his own, or does the family have someone help make sure that he gets to practices?
So Dad's a captain in the Navy, so it's a lot of work for him to go out of his way. When
does Dad even ever make it to the games?
Not really. It's pretty disappointing. And when Mom isn't buried in the bottle,
this is my childhood. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, please continue.
And when Mom isn't buried in the bottle, she's not really around to give him a ride. So yeah, he gets himself through either by bicycle, walking, hitchhiking, skitching on a skateboard, any number of ways to get
how
to
many
practice.
How many practices does he skip a week?
How many practices will he tell you he skips? 0. How many does he actually skip? As many as he can. As many as he can get away with without someone calling Dad.
And it doesn't show up in the games, does it? He just he hates the sports, but he's good at them.
But he has that natural talent because he can bench 200 pounds because he's gonna keep he's gonna keep up there with the fitness.
He does a lot of reps.
Mm-hmm.
His fitness is good. And he has a pride, so something that he is very proud of.
He's proud of the fact that he can bench 200 pounds. Because in the 80s, ladies like that kind of thing. At least that's what he believes, and that's what he was told by his brother. So that's why he does.
Chicks.
It'll totally get the chicks. Look at this.
Look at this.
The beach is that way.
Oh, welcome to the gun show. Do you know how to sew? Because I'm ripped. Sorry.
Let me hold those bags for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Man. All right. And what's his relationship to the other kids? Go ahead and pick a kid from our group. Either Dara, Grete, or Lorry, and tell me about your relationship to them. Now, and I do think your kid's a little older than them, isn't he? Like
yeah, he's 15. So he spends a lot of time in the gym and practices and just doing things that are evocative of the popular kid. He has a lot of social engagements, so he doesn't have a lot of time for school. So Dara helps him pass classes, and whether that is actual tutoring or doing the work for him, we'll leave that up to chat to decide.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Cool. And so. What are your relationships to 2 NPCs in this world?
So he has his first NPC is his brother, and his brother is away, and that's basically his aspiration. Is his brother graduated? He's an older, and he went to college, and it escaped the traveling lifestyle. It escaped the whatever the hell's happening at home, and that's what he wants to be. He wants to get through school as quickly as possible. Get to college where it's parties and fun and a blast, and you don't have to deal with the home drama.
How far away is the college?
You tell me. Where is the closest college?
Because I like it. Yeah, because that's what I like. It's like he's escaped and he's gotten away,
but it's like only a few miles away.
He's at like ODU.
Yeah,
he's like a quarter mile from the Navy base, and he's just like, I got out, bro.
Yeah,
I escaped the burbs.
You could be like this too, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so old and wise.
Yeah. That's not how you get chicks. You get chicks like this. and he puts the hat backwards.
Oh man, yeah. His brother, he's not that far. Actually, his brother's escaped. He's actually a little further. He's going to be at the College of William and Mary, which is, I believe, the oldest college in North America, which is about 40 miles away from where you live. So it's a little far, but it's not that far. It's in Colonial Williamsburg. Okay. That's where your brother's at. So he's a little out there. It feels like a slightly different world. Yeah. And it's just outside the loop. Okay. And then who's the second NPC that you have?
The second NPC is Coach Caldwell. And Coach Caldwell understands that Maxie has an innate talent for sports. So he kind of turns a blind eye when he misses a session or two, when he misses a practice or two, and doesn't call his dad. And he's one of those every coaches. Like, he's the head high school coach, so he's on every team, that kind of thing. So he kind of shies away when Maxie misses a practice.
You have a second secret that you know about the coach that he's okay with you knowing. What's that secret?
What's that secret? You know what? It's the 80s. Let's dig right into that.
He has no degree. He never graduated high school. No.
Coach Caldwell's wife is just a roommate.
There you go. All right, cool. And who is your anchor?
My anchor is my older brother. He's who I turn to for advice with ladies, sports, school, dad, mom.
Okay. Older brother is the anchor, and you've already given me your character's name. Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Now let's move to Lauri the Rucker. All right, Lorry. We're going to do our worst. All right. So a little bit about the Rucker character. The Rucker is good at moving, good at charming people, good at empathizing with others. Now, you as a Rucker have an iconic item, Lorry. What is that item? And go ahead and describe it for the audience.
It is an electric guitar. She got it for her last birthday. It is bright pink. It doesn't match anything else she owns because she pretty much wears black just constantly, except for her guitar, which is bright pink.
Sharp contrast.
And it has stickers all over it, like different bands that she listens to and likes.
Nice. Sweet. I want one. All right. And she has a problem. What is her problem?
Her parents have been arguing a lot recently. Her mother's always at work, never about. Her father just doesn't understand anyone else in the family, doesn't really like where they're living, thinks they can do better. They can never afford anything too much. So they are getting divorced.
Ooh, that's rough. And being a child of the 80s in Virginia Beach, whose parents went through a divorce in the 80s, I totally empathize. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about Lorry. Now, Lorry has a drive. What is her drive in life?
She's doing it for love of the music mostly.
What's your favorite part about the music?
That can drown out her parents arguing at the moment.
Loud and focused on other things.
It's the one thing she's good at.
Give me a relationship that she has with one of the other kids.
Grete. She's like, Lorry doesn't quite fit in with the other kids in the school, and I feel like Grete doesn't either. So they kind of get on. So Grete just thinks she rocks.
The weirdo rocks. That hippie weirdo. Oh man. Hey Greta, want to be the lead singer of our band? Do I ever? I have a lot to say. And it's like spoken word. I did that once. And then relationship to two NPCs.
So there's Mark at the music store who totally rocks, and he's teaching her to play guitar when he's not working. Mostly when he is working. He's like 17.
How old is Lorry?
13.
So does he rock or does he rock? He's like so totally cool, and he has like a leather jacket, and he put like the studs on the back of it, and it's awesome. And he sewed his own patches on.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I love it if he like totally rocks, and she's like hyped him up, but you like find him and he's like a James Taylor like folky guy. No, I like totally rock guys. You got a friend, and she's like, yeah. He's mellow. And who else does she have a connection with that's a non-player character?
There's Joe that's actually in her band, but he totally sucks and she dislikes him.
Ugh.
Like, he just no rhythm.
None.
Whatsoever. It's not even funny. The cat does a better job, as far as she's concerned.
And she has an anchor in her life. What is her anchor?
It's the guy at the music store,
Mark.
who's teaching her. Mark, who's teaching her to play guitar.
All right. Let's circle back to Greta the Weirdo, who's 12, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Young one.
She is. But you couldn't tell. She like looks like she's 46. What? No, just messing.
I mean,
so the
80s,
weirdos,
you know, all the drugs. God.
weirdo's good at sneaking, investigating, and empathizing with others. Now, the weirdo has an iconic item. What item does Greta carry?
I have a pet rat who's
Is it
named.
living?
It's living. It's living, and I'm not just imagining that it's alive. It's actually alive. It's black and gray, and it's a he, and his name is Horkheimer.
Oh.
And you know, if like everybody else is just like, you know, you're just so fucking weird, you know, get off my back, then she talks to Horkheimer because he's always there for her, and he listens and he understands her, of course.
Mm. And you have a problem. What is the problem you have?
Yeah, so I have an older brother, and we used to get along really well. But in the recent months, he's been very sort of shutting out everybody else in the room all the time. And I'm quite sure he's doing something weird in there, and nothing with that has anything to do with puberty, but actually something that worries me. But I don't know, because I mean, our parents also don't care. Well, my dad kind of cares, but he's a little bit soft, so he's more like, okay, you know, he will talk to me when he's ready. But my mom totally doesn't care because she's out working all the time, and it used to be my brother who came back in the middle of the night, but now it's my mom, which I find kind of weird. But she's of no help, and so I'm worried about what my brother is up to.
And what are the signs he's doing something weird in there?
I sometimes think that I hear other voices coming from his room, and there's like when I wake up in the middle of the night and have to use the restroom, there's always light. I can always see light underneath his door. And then when I knock, every now and then I knock and I ask him if he's okay, like everything falls quiet, and he looks really tired all the time. So yeah.
I have a question. Are the voices in English or a different language?
I don't know. Sometimes I think they might even be in German, because my family moved to this place, to Virginia Beach, from Germany like 5-ish years ago or so. But they're mostly inaudible. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is giving me a flashback of Gudrun and her family. They moved down the street from us 5 years in 1980. Yes, so always gives us food from her garden. It's great. She has a pet horse. So you have a drive in your life that propels you forward. Go ahead and describe that to me.
Yeah, it's basically what I mentioned earlier. She has a firm belief that once she turns 13 in like 3 months or so, that she will be able to sort of see through the mysteries of this world, or at least of the vicinity, the area where she's living, and that she understands how everything is connected, and and she definitely believes in higher powers. And then, but she knows, watching the adults and also the older kids, she knows that these special powers, they will go away the older you get. So she also believes that she has to find a way to basically stay a kid forever.
Ooh, Peter Pan. And she has a great pride in something. What is her pride?
Her pride is that her grandmother, even though she's suffering from pretty severe dementia, that she always believes in Grete and encourages her, like even when she has a really shitty day, that she's basically her grandmother tells her you're awesome, you know, and so that gives her strength to move on.
And go ahead and describe your relationship with all three of the other children.
Okay. So picking something from the rule book, I would say that for a while, Max's parents let me live with them because, and I don't know, I think that Max didn't feel too good about the whole thing, having weirdo me in his household. And it happened during a time, so about a year ago, my dad was lost his job for a while and things were really a bit chaotic at home. And I think that also my parents had some trouble, so I was shipped off to Max's family for a while, and you know, my mom would just drop me off there, and then then what was her name? Lorry already said that since we both really don't fit in, we hang out together quite often, and so my dad's working at a supermarket right now, and behind the supermarket there's a little
Farm
sort of
Fresh.
hidden, huh?
I said Farm Fresh.
Oh, but of course. And then so there's a little hidden corner behind the supermarket where there's a ton of cardboard boxes and wooden crates and stuff like that, so they can hang out there. And then Dara, how old is Dara again?
She's 14.
Oh, 14. Okay, Dara. I think she would. I think Grete thinks that Dara is really cool because she seems to know a whole lot of things, and that's very. Grete thinks that's really cool because she's under the impression that Dara basically knows everything, that she's a walking lexicon. Dictionary. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to throw a question back to Max. Max, what was the most annoying thing about having Grete living at your house?
Having her live at the house.
Just all of it.
So, yeah, her entire presence.
Just popping up randomly.
So he fully understands that, like, the kind of person his dad is, it wasn't an act of generosity, it was an act of PR. That if you take in the weird troubled kid who can't stay at her own house, it looks really good for you. It makes you look awesome. So he had to keep the facade going in public.
Get up at church every Sunday and be like, see this weirdo?
Yeah, we take this heathen to, you know, that kind of thing. Like, so he is forced to go through the motions with another, you know, play of the perfect family life that just adds to the anxiety and stress, the fact that he wants nothing to do with this family.
Got it. Circling back to Grete, now give me two relationships that you have with NPCs in this world.
I would say there's I don't know what you would call it, a store where you go to get incense and crystals and all of this.
I know it.
Shenanigans.
Yes. We have a few.
Let's call it the Blessed Unicorn.
Like a spiritualist?
Yeah.
Come again?
Like a spiritualist shop?
Yeah, like an esoteric kind of shop. Yeah, let's call it the Blessed Unicorn. And there's this super hippie woman called Ella. Who has flowy dresses and super long hair. And she, just like the grandmother, she just supports Grete in all her crazy beliefs and, you know, telling her that she has a special aura and stuff like that. And so she's frequently also hanging out there and sipping weird teas and stuff like that. And then the other person would be, so her grandmother, is living at assisted living facility, because I think she mentioned she's suffering from a severe degree of dementia, and Grete's parents just couldn't take care of her at home anymore. And so in the facility, Grete made friends with the janitor, whose name is Frank. I should write it down. Don't get it. And he barely talks. So basically, it's just her talking all the time, and well, he's just doing his job, and he doesn't seem to be annoyed by her, but he just silently listens. Yeah.
And the most prominent assisted living home is actually just down the street from you guys. It's not actually that far. It's actually a Jewish-run assisted living center that is wanting to raise money to expand their facilities. But they've been having problems getting donations, being the local religious minority, especially since most all of the communal funds, local funds, state funds, federal funds are going into the loop. But yeah, so your mother would be at Beth Shalom nursing home down the street. Family doesn't have to be Jewish, but that's the best place to get taken care of. It's also the most economical and affordable. And just so you know, there's a program where the assisted living center escorts the elderly into the shopping centers from time to time. And it's always like, for most kids, the most unhip time to have their grandparents who have been placed in assisted living marching through the streets and the stores and the shops just kind of like wildly. But it actually probably is a very happy time for Grete, because it's a free chance to see grandma. Help her buy stuff from Farm Fresh. Probably usually hangs out back and then circles around. Now, I believe we've talked about how your anchor is your grandmother, correct?
Yeah, I realized I think I mixed up Pride and Anchor. So Anchor would be the grandmother. And then...
Okay, yeah. And your Pride. Something distinct about yourself.
I don't care that a lot of folks at school constantly bully me, because I think that those are just really sad people, and they I have just a shitload of optimism. It's really ridiculous.
It's like, even negative all attention is good attention. It's like, look, one day these peons will be my followers.
I think Grete is more worried about the aura and the karma of those kids.
Yes, the karma. And let's shift our focus now over to, is it Dara or Dara?
It was Dara, but I like Dara better now.
It can be. And that's great too, because like you end up at her house and it's like Dara, and she's like, Dara. Man, that's
my name now. I changed my name because she calls me that.
That's like such a Virginia Beach thing too. Like Andrea and Andrea, and like Andrea. And then you call her Andrea, and she's like, I'm back to Andrea. And like, it flip-flops which one they prefer every year of puberty. So let's talk about your character. So for the audience, bookworms are good at calculating, investigating, and comprehending things. Now, you have an iconic item, and it's the 1980s, so everyone has a prop. What is your iconic item? The magnifying glass. I shouldn't have asked. Can you like hold it up and away from the camera? Can you like go in and out? Yeah, check that out, guys.
Wow. That actually worked.
That's really big, guys. I'll put it down.
Yeah, that's one of my cheap, dumb movie tricks from back when I worked in the film industry. It's like, hey, check it out. And you have a problem, Dara. What is your problem?
So my problem is that I spend all of my free time either tutoring or at the library, really reading and soaking up as much as I can. And she tends to stay late nights at the library. Her parents don't really care what she does because she's intelligent, smart, she can make good decisions, so they don't really care when she gets home, and they're not usually home anyway. So she gets home late at night, and she notices almost every time that she's on her way home, there's someone following her.
How do they look?
An older gentleman. That's all she's got. They have a hood on.
A hooded older gentleman.
Like older than her, like could still be.
Okay.
She doesn't know.
And so let's describe this hood. Is it kind of like he's wearing a poncho? Is it a robe? Is it
kind of like the skater sweaters that are like fitted, and then
hoodie?
they have like the big hood. Yeah.
Does he have facial hair?
Can't tell. It's
You've
usually
never
at
seen
night.
his
This is
face?
usually like 10 or 11 at night. She's never seen this.
You've never seen their face?
But it's the same hoodie every time. It's the
What
same
color's
clothes,
the hoodie?
Black. But she does notice that he has bright red sneakers.
Yeah, I was going to ask that next. Is he wearing slacks, jeans, or nondescript?
Black jeans.
Yeah, black jeans. How does he normally travel? On foot? Some other method of...
On foot, he just walks behind her about half a block, or no, about a block.
Okay. Describe his gait to me.
He's very tall. He just walks very slowly, but you could tell that it's walking because of how tall he is. He's walking slow on purpose to keep that distance.
Predation. Got it. And okay, so we've talked a little bit about that man. Now you have a drive that propels you forward in life. What is that drive?
She spends most of her time reading. Sorry, I just saw Frag's comment. She spends a lot of time reading about, going on fictional adventures, and learning about the stars and like the space is what really interests her. And learning all of these things, but she's never actually been on a real adventure in real life. She pretty much keeps to, home, the store, and the library. So she wants to really go on an adventure and actually live through some of these tales that she's read of.
What's the closest she's ever gotten to adventure and it just didn't work out?
The guy's stalking her every night. She was almost on the front page of the news.
I almost was the most notorious crime in Virginia Beach in 1984. 1985 is going to be my years, guys. I'm slowing down. 0.75 miles per hour.
She started working out with Max in case she had to run.
I switched my shoes from pumps to sneakers. Yes. All right. And she has something she is very, very proud of. And what is that?
She has read every single book in their local library. They get new ones in, and they can't bring them in fast enough, for how fast she can read.
Has she memorized the Dewey Decimal System for every book? Yes.
So she, in her spare time, works at the library after school, since she's there anyway. So she reads books, helps people, goes back to reading her books. And she's been on every adventure in the library.
Yes, and she can pull out any card from the card catalog without looking and these things, some of the audience, they may not be familiar with card catalogs. The Dewey Decimal System is a foreign language, but this is the 80s. This is how we found things back then. Archaic numbers and drawers full of little index cards. My floppy disk was this big, and I don't say that proudly. All right. And describe your relationship with each of the other kids. Some of them we've discussed slightly, but you have your own interpretation of every relationship.
So she uses her, she pretty much she's a people watcher. So she uses her observations of the world around her whenever she's not facing a book. And Petra, she noticed Petra's character, Grete, gets picked on a lot. And so if someone's picking on her, she knows it doesn't bother her, but it's, she knows it's not right. And so she'll sort of demean these kids in a way that makes them feel less intelligent whenever she can. That is she knows that Greta believes in a karma system, but she is the karma system. She's making her own.
Aww.
I have a question. Does Dara have sort of a non-binary view of the world? And the way I say that, and I throw it out there like that, is kind of the impression I get is it doesn't matter if you're male, female, black, white. It kind of doesn't matter. It's kind of look, we're all human beings, and nobody picks on anyone, not on my watch. At least,
especially with all the books she reads. She reads a lot of books of, violence and history books, and she's read everything, every genre. She doesn't, so reading about these people and the struggles they go through, she lives it every day, when she's reading these books, and she doesn't like seeing it.
Greg is owning chat. My brother Greg. Good to see you, my friend. Describe your relationship with the one you are asked to tutor, the slightly older boy, Mr. Max, who can bench 200 pounds, and he's tried to show you so many times.
Whenever he tries to get tough with her or is like, listen, I should be playing football, I should be doing this, she calls him Maxi Pad. Because he's a big tough boy and she doesn't care.
Oh man!
But she likes him because he's a nice enough person and she knows he's going through a few things. One of her NPCs that she knows is actually tied to him a little bit. She knows the library owner obviously very well. The owner is Ms. Welker. She's young enough. She's like in her early 30s. It was given to her by her father who passed away. And she lets her stay as long as she wants. You know, she's helpful. She's nice. She's good with people that walk in. So, but she knows that she's single, but she's having an affair with a man who's married. It's Max's dad.
Oh, I see. And tell me about your relationship with Lauri the Rucker, the cool kid.
So she doesn't really look up to many people or strive to be different than what she is. She's proud of what she is, but she's a little jealous of that guitar and how cool she is. I don't think she talks to her very much. And even though she's friends with Grete and they interact a little bit, she just kind of admires from afar and is like, I should really get into music one of these days, and then goes back to her book.
Sorry, gotta tell chat that literally every person in school refers to him as Maxi Pad.
I don't think I would say it loud enough that his friends would pick on him.
But they heard it. You totally didn't think anyone did, and this is what he has to live with every day, and you have no clue.
And you know what he's going to find in his locker.
Oh, man. As he gets pelted with them everywhere he goes.
They're just stuck to him sometimes, the locker.
Oh, man. And, like, he doesn't even notice it anymore. Like, he's just very, no. Look, I understand. 4 years. This is my life. Whatever. I'll get through it. I'll get out of this town. I'll get across the street to ODU, just like my brother, who's still there when he gets there.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, dude. I started college and became a bartender. I'll be here for the next 12 years.
Free drinks, man.
As long as they're water. Mm-hmm. Now let's go ahead and recap your relationship with the NPCs. You described one, but go ahead and give a brief recap of it for the audience, as well as a second NPC relationship.
So it is Ms. Welker. She's kind of like a prim and tidy type of woman, which is why she was surprised to find out that she is sneaking around whenever I'm asked to lock up the library and leave the keys in a drop. With Mr. Maynard, which is Max's father. Max has complained about home life a little bit, or mentioned it in passing when I've tutored him. But I haven't told him because it doesn't really matter who it is, in her opinion. Still sucks.
They start sneaking around, and all you hear is the loud roar of dot matrix printers. Just. Sorry, I went there. Sorry, audience. I was trying to think. I was like, how do they hide the noise? I was like, dot matrix printers.
Oh boy.
The library, they're quiet. And the second NPC?
The second is Coach Caldwell. He, as far as everyone at the school is concerned, nicely asks her to help tutor the students because they need scholarships and they need to go to school and they need to maintain grades so they can get accepted. But he pays her under the table.
How good's his rate? Is it better than?
It's not great.
It's not great.
No.
It's better than $0.
She's saving up for college.
Coach Caldwell reminds me of Coach Ellis. Yeah, I was gonna be like, yeah, he pays him, but not very well. Yeah. So, and you have an anchor in your life. Who is it?
It is one of my teachers, my astronomy teacher, Mr. Estrella.
He's what country is he from? I know that's a Spanish word, but I'm curious.
So he's from Italy originally.
He's Italian.
Yep.
Estrella. Sorry, I'm not going to talk like that. Mamma mia. It's Mike.
Oh.
Mike is your Italian astronomy teacher.
Yep.
No.
Somehow, based on his grades, I don't think so.
Senor, why are you crying? No.
No, but she hangs out there when she's not at the library. Like if the library's closed, she hangs out with him after school and runs some of the, demonstrations they do and stuff.
Oh, right. So now what we're going to do is each kid gets a scene, and we are going to start a scene, and I'm going to give a prompt in where someone's just going to jump in. So all the scenes will take place immediately after school. This is the night of the big skate party. Now, skate parties are what people do in Virginia Beach in the 1980s. Everyone goes to Kempsville Family Skating Center, but really families don't go. That's where the cool kids go. That's where many people's first kisses and other things happen. And they always play the best music. They also play new music that you've probably never heard before. And the skate party is the happening place to be. There's a mini arcade there. There's good food. Essentially from junior high, this is the 80s, so it's junior high, 7th grade through 9th grade, and high school, all go there. And a couple of 5th and 6th graders. So I want to know which kid wants to start their after-school adventure at R&J Laundromat, which is at the shopping center past the nursing home. They have the best arcade right now in Virginia Beach. Half the laundromat's like a full-service arcade. The other half is where you can wash your clothes. But which kid's going to be at the laundromat?
I think Greta followed one of her weird instincts and the little voices that she thinks she can hear. And while all of the kids that are in the arcade section and having a lot of fun, Greta is kneeling in front of one of the washing machines, watching it spin.
This is like an episode of Pete and Pete, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. So you're in front of the washing machine. Go ahead and describe the sound that the washing machine's making in the laundromat. What
it's
animal
probably,
does it sound like?
What animal? I don't know. It's like there's a hint of a bear in there, maybe, but a bear with a cough, I would say, because it's one of the machines that needs some definitely is due for some maintenance, so it makes some rattling noises also, and then so she's sitting or kneeling in front of that like this.
There's 3 other people in the laundromat section. Who are they? How do they look? Describe them to me. They're all older. Okay, there's this other guy. It's just because she's definitely not doing that for the first time. I think that the people who work there have stopped being like, what the fuck is she doing at some point. And there's this one older guy who always smells funny, like he smells of mothballs, and he always goes there to wash his clothes, and he always has this death look on his face. And he's one of the reasons why she thinks that she has to do whatever she can to never grow up, ever. And he, she sometimes is tempted to get some kind of reaction from him because he seems so dead to everything going on around him while he's neatly folding his pants. And then who else is there? I think there's a mother with a little child that gets more and more sort of impatient and wants to run around, but the mom is holding it back, and then it starts crying. And at some point, Greta will she always wears some kind of crystals around her neck, usually more than one, and so she will dangle one of the crystals in front of the kid's face and to make it laugh and show her Horkheimer the rat. And that mother is not too happy when she takes her rats to make the kid laugh. And So, and describe to me the attendant who's working there today. It's someone new who you haven't seen before. What's so unique about them?
It's a young woman, and she doesn't look like she would. Like Greta really wonders why a person like her would take on a job like that. She's wearing the kind of a uniform that they have there, and so they're white and baby blue. And that young woman, she has bleached hair and a ton of makeup. Like she looks like she would go to. You said something about the surfing competition, Virginia Beach, stuff like that. Was that right? Yeah. She looks like she would run with that crowd, and she is chewing gum, because like a horse basically, and she looks extremely annoyed, as if she's thinking like, what the fuck am I doing here? And so at some point, Greta just looks over and stares at her for a while.
All right, we're gonna ponder this for a second. And me being a new game master of Tales from the Loop actually skipped a couple of our pre-game things. So I apologize to everyone, but hold on, and we're going to come back. We're going to move the camera back to Greta. Now, you as kids have a hideout in your group. I want you guys to talk about a group. This is a secret hideout. Now, this is a hideout that they are always safe in. NPCs can't find them here. This is a place just for the kids. Now, I would like you as a group to talk about your hideout together.
So, man.
Maybe like an abandoned house. Like maybe behind the school, behind the football fields, behind everything.
Maybe like an old
Sure,
shed.
or like there's like a, or like what do you call it? There's one of those, the development housings, right? Where they're building a development, and there's always that the first house they build complete and they furnish it, and it has like the
You're in the model home.
The model home, yeah, and it wouldn't, and it's the '80s, so it's safe, right? So there wouldn't be a key box; it'd be a key. There'd be one of those fake rocks with the key underneath it, and that's how we get into this fully furnished house.
It's just unlocked all the time. It's the 80s.
That's true. It's the '80s. It's just unlocked all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Doors are open, raccoons are in there.
Yeah. The spec house. Yeah.
I feel like Lori's taking over the garage so that she can do guitar practice there, and like you can just open the garage up to the door, up to the street.
Yeah.
And so she then has an audience.
Have a couple other questions. So, Dara, what's your experience with robots?
She's read a lot of books on robotics and things like that, but she's never, like they used to have clubs and things so you could, work on computers and all that. She never really got into it.
There's
a lot of books, but that's it.
There's 3 robots that work in the library that you've never seen. And it's interesting you've read books, but you've heard they're here. You've just never seen them. Because these are things, the Loop has high technology that is mundane. There may be other robots there. And now I have a question for Lori. Lori, what do you think about sports?
Other people are great at them. Lori is mediocre at absolutely everything.
What about watching them? Do you have favorite teams?
Her dad watches a lot, I think. She doesn't really get it too involved in it until like halftime and the music comes on, and she's so much more interested.
She's way in there. Here's a question. Now, she's a rocker, but is she also in the school band? Is she in the marching band too, like secretly? Is she a band? Yes. There were all the punk rock girls in high school were also secretly in the marching band, and then every now and then would be like, wait, they're what? And they had to wear wigs so you couldn't see their dyed hair. It was so funny.
Makes me think of Freaks and Geeks.
Yes.
I went with the tuba girl.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Like perm one that she has especially for that.
Man. And Mike, go ahead and describe Max's room to me.
So let me see if I have my years right. There's a Top Gun poster for sure, because that is the coolest thing in school. So it's full of like 80s movies posters of the coolest, most broy bros in
Rocky IV.
Yeah. What is it? Cocktails? Is that the movie? Yeah.
Yes, with Tom Cruise.
With Tom Cruise. Yeah. So it's like all of the broiest bro movies you could possibly have posters for.
They should all be Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
Have your haircut like him.
And he has and he has the aviators too. He's got the Top Gun side part, and he has a bookshelf that is just full of trophies with like the ribbons hanging down off the trophies, and there's like a football of someone signed it in a case, and like just all this like sports paraphernalia, and then in the corner there is a set of free weights, and he has his mattress on the floor because you don't need all that room, you need more room for weights and other super rad things, and he has one of those enormous radios that has like the 12 D-cell batteries that you can pick up and take with you places, because you always need rockin' tunes when you go to the gym. You can't always like a boombox, and you can't always work out at home. You got to go places sometimes in public where people can see you bench 200.
Yeah, you gotta run in the streets so everyone sees you.
Yeah. With short shorts, short shorts, white Keds with the knee socks up, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh, Keds, man, it's totally the 80s. I had the glow in the dark Keds. I thought it was so cool. I was also 3 years old. But all right. So now, Greta, in what way has your problem gone from bad to worse lately?
Improvising here. So I've been hearing the voices coming from my brother's room and the lights, and he's constantly tired and has red eyes. And so far, I always thought that it was just him being involved in whatever he was doing. But then a week ago or so, after school, I saw him behind the school building with an older kid. I think I have seen before, so I believe that that kid is also going to our school, and he was obviously not physically threatening my brother, but talking in a very in a threatening way, and the way he gestured at him, and the brother was like sort of hunched over and sort of making some placating gestures, and then she tried to talk to him, but he actually snapped at her and pushed her away, and which made her fall down, and that scared her a little bit, actually, because that never, or not just a little bit, a lot, that never happened before.
Let's talk about your relationships as a group now. So you are a group. Everyone here is part of the group. The group meets up at the hideout from time to time. What secrets does the group have? And this is everyone can participate to answer this.
Vampires. I'm just kidding.
That would be the worst part about living in Southern California.
I think
I could be a hippie vampire.
You're vampires now.
Vampire.
Like, that's like your thing, though. When you're together, you're vampires. Like that's what it is. You're not. You have rules as vampires. Like your group's vampires. You're not literally undead vampires. And what I like. So everyone has their different interpretation in the group of what a vampire is. Dara, describe with all of your book smarts your definition of what it means to the group to be a vampire.
I was totally kidding, by the way.
I know. We were taking it and running it.
Truly.
We were taking it and running with it. Because, this is your secret club.
God damn it. I fucked up, guys.
That's why you call him Maxi. He's
the bait. That's what that is.
He's the bait.
Yeah, she would see her as like her part of the group. Her contribution would be the how and the why of the vampire, like how they're made, and how they sustain themselves, like all the science behind it. And then she would just she's read all of the up until this time all the vampire books, and would know like the people eating scary parts, but then there's also like they're alone and separate, and if there's no other there's no other ones in the area, they live alone for a very long time. And she kind of, I guess, can understand that. You know what I mean? We're like the outcasts a little bit. So
Now, Greg has just given you your vampire nickname. You're Dracula. Dracula. It's canon. It's official. And you are in the southeastern United States. You're in Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is actually considered one of the most haunted cities in the U.S. And in the 80s, fun fact about me, I grew up in a house that was in America's Atlas of Haunted Houses in the United States. And that's the house that I literally grew up in, like, no lie. So there is a story of a Virginia vampire. And the rumor has it he still lives today. Now, I'm curious what Lauri's definition of what it means to the group to be the vampire. And she has written their theme song and has even performed it once or twice, but it's not ready. The Battle of the Bands. You kids are going to perform at the Battle of the Bands, the vampires. It's going to be great. Get ready, guys.
Lauri's very much into the more the visual side. Like her clothes, like when she kind of joined this group. Her clothes got like blacker and blacker and blacker. Like she's nice blues, yellows, no more. Always now into the black. She's very much the visual side of it, more so than the kind of the lore behind it or anything else. Also, she puts together the theme song for the group, obviously.
All right, and now, old Max. Max, you're a vampire. How did you join the group and why?
Yeah, so Max he started off as the most reluctant person here, but he's also probably the dumbest person here. So obviously, Dara is tutoring him, and then because he got stuck with Grete having moved into the house, at least for a time, and she hung out with Lorry, that meant that he had to hang out with Lorry because he had to be public with Grete, so everyone knew that, like, oh, it's like my little sister, right? So like he was forced to kind of hang out with everybody, and they all just started hanging out. Like one day they all just happened to be at the library, and there was like, then it just sort of sprang from there. So
I don't think we should be doing this here.
Yeah.
So you took them into the model home.
Yeah, so he's like the face, but he always comes up with like the dumb ideas that's like, oh, we should totally do this. And everyone's like, no, that's real dumb. And his newest one is he's hooked on the new movie that recently came out, Real Genius. And he is convinced that we can take this model home and convert it into have like secret doors, and because everyone's smart and Dara knows everything, and because Greta's super weird and has like crystals, and you can use crystals to make lasers because that's how science works, we could totally make a laser and it's gonna be awesome. And it's not gonna be awesome because those are all make-believe things that don't exist. So he comes up with the dumb plans that they do.
I feel like Dara would refine them though. She's like, well, we could make a laser, but it would take a lot of energy, and she would just like map it out why it wouldn't work and hand it back to them.
So, someone else wants to be in your gang. Describe this individual to me.
Oh man, who else would it be?
Maybe one of Max's friends who could have a secret crush, maybe on.
Yes, who does he have a crush on in the group?
You know what? I'll do this. We have a donation from Mercer who donated a shitload of money earlier. I will copy and paste what he donated into Zoom chat. But it's his friend. It's his friend Morty who wants to join the group.
Morty.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I like your hideout.
Yeah, he wants to join the group, and Maxie wants nothing of the kind to happen. Because it's bad enough that he knows the group exists, and he cannot stomach the fact that if he knows what is happening in the group and thinks that Max is actually friends with these weirdos, that could hurt his potential reputation here in high school.
Oh yeah,
and that's the most important thing.
It's through the roof right now with the maxi pads taped to his locker and being pelted with them everywhere he goes. Like,
Grete actually collects them, and she makes little collages out of them and paints them and stuff like that.
Dara just feels bad that she started this, but is happy that they're at least being put to good use.
So Morty's trying to get into the group now. Here's a question: who's the leader of the group? Is Dara the leader of the group?
I mean, obviously Maxie thinks it's him.
Yeah, officially, and we probably let him believe that he is.
Yes.
But Greta would always follow Dara's lead.
There we go. So Max is like the puppet head. He's the older boy. Let him get in trouble. Watch this. Let him there.
He's the shadow leader.
Yeah. When he gets stopped by the security guards, we sneak around the back.
Yeah.
Oh man. Now, who in the group is in love with whom?
Man.
No.
Asking the hard-hitting Breakfast Club questions.
If it's okay.
It doesn't have to be someone in the group. It can be someone else.
I think Lorry is in love with Mark at the music shop.
Lauri's in love with Mark. For sure. He's the best.
Exactly.
Hey, listen to this new song I wrote. I knew a redheaded girl with long black hair. And he's just like,
It's
freaking
just terrible.
Mark. Yeah. Mark, you're the best.
What a dweeb.
Totally makes sense.
Yes. So, and it's a shame the movie Lost Boys came out in 1987. I think your story is what it's going to be based on. The 80s vampire or thriller comedy. Now, another question for the group. When you guys get together, what is it you most like to do?
Well, I assume this show house doesn't have power, right? So it's not like we can't do anything cool in the house.
But you can steal power from someone else's house.
Well, that's true, and these nerds are smart enough to do it.
Hey, you move that over there.
Yeah. If you need to pick that up, I got it. I'll pick it up. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've. If there's anyone living in the development, I think we've stolen HBO.
Yeah.
I mean, Greta for sure likes to just make the house pretty, but also increase the good vibes inside the house. So she's leaving out crystals everywhere and bringing incense and stuff like that. And by the way, the whole vampire thing just fits in perfectly with her weird idea already that she never wants to get older or become an adult.
They're creatures of law. Yeah, and it's like laws first. Sorry, the natural order.
And she doesn't really buy into the whole brutal, bloody aspect of all the vampire lore. She thinks that they're just being misunderstood. But Greta, I think, sees her job in making sure that everybody is in a good mood, and she's definitely overdoing it every now and then. That she's like getting on people's nerves. But I think most of the time she notices when she's a bit too much with, "Hey, I tried this new tea. It will make you feel better."
We're going to move the camera back to Greta, who's watching the washing machine, circling, and she notices it starts spinning faster and faster and faster, then starts sparking on the inside, and then it starts to illuminate blue. And it starts lifting off the ground about 3 inches. And this is a washing machine. Most people are just kind of like, I'm waiting for this.
I fall back on my behind, and I look left and right. Is anybody reacting to that?
Nobody sees it but you. No one really stares into the washing machines. Surfer girl behind the counter is still, she's kind of, idly waiting for people to come in and keep herself busy. She's fiddling with the dial on the radio, and she can't quite get a station. She had a station. She had a, FM 99. She's listening to Tommy and the Bull. She thought they were hilarious. But now all of a sudden it's static, and she can't seem to get the signal while this is going on with the washing machine.
Okay.
Her mother and the kid sees it, and the kid looks really excited, almost too excited. But the mother is currently folding some clothes, not paying attention to the kid.
And Greta goes, hey guys, I see. Hey, you little one. You how old is the kid? I never explained. I was like
kid's about
3,
2.5.
2.5. So
Yeah.
it can't
vocalize.
Really,
it can,
And then she looks around and nobody else is doing anything. And then she saw the even though she was staring intently at the washing machine, she noticed that server girl was, fiddling around with the radio, and she was like, "Hey, Miss, what did you do with the radio? The washing machine. Are you seeing that? Whatever you're doing, don't stop." And then she is watching back at the washing machine, seeing if
she looks
anything
really confused. You notice when you look back at the washing machine, it's completely stopped. The cycle's done. It's back on the ground. There is no blue. What do you do?
So it has stopped for me as well.
Oh, it stopped altogether. You notice you were talking to her. You look back.
Mm-hmm.
It's stone. The
Okay.
inside though looks completely charred. Not the clothes, but just the inside, the metal, the metallics. There's
Okay.
like a weird old medicine smell kind of in the air now.
Is it hot? She carefully reaches out. Is it hot to the touch, or can I open push the button and open the door?
You push the button, you open the door, the inside is ice cold.
And she looks at you. Hello? Hello? And she sort of leans forward. And then you hear her voice echoing in the machine.
She notices as she hears a loud like stampeding going out the door. All the other kids are leaving the arcade area, and they're going because they've got to go get ready for the skate party. And I have a question for you. Do you stay and investigate a little while, or do you also go back to get ready for the skate party? Because you have to go.
I really like the skate party is always cool because there are people that have weird auras, but washing machine, are you trying to tell me something? And I kind of lean in closer and sort of, then I start, I don't know if, I assume that there's other washing machines right next to it, but she's trying to, if not, she's trying to look around and see if, she would probably go and find the cable.
You notice
and see
when you
anything
stick
is
your
weird.
head inside, you hear kind of like a deep, bassy voice go, "Find them." It kind of hums and resonates, then stops. And as it stops, the radio comes back on.
She, as she hears the voice, she squeals and sort of bangs her head against, as she's pulling back, bangs her head against the inside of the washing machine. She's like, "Ow!"
Oh, and she hits it, and the song on the radio is "Everybody Wants to Rule the World." And we cut back to Max, who that happens to be his favorite song, and he's listening. Who's that by? Is that by Tears for Fears?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. And Max is currently your scene begins in a ditch.
In a ditch. Yeah. So Max is
A football's landed in it.
A football has landed in the ditch. Okay.
Yeah.
So Max is he is in a ditch, and you just hear shit. And you see the camera kind of pans down on Max, and Max has like a button-down shirt with just 2 or 3 extra buttons buttoned down, so you can just see how cool I am. The more buttons you have open, the cooler you are. And spinning, whirring next to him is his skateboard that he was using to get to this party. And it looks brand new, looks never used before, and that's because it is. In fact, he just recently procured this despite his other skateboard that he actually uses to get places. This one has a bright yellow strip across the grip tape that says Madrid, and then another like black and purple strip that says Valterra. And anyone that knows 80s movies would immediately recognize this as the iconic skateboard from the opening scene of Back to the Future, and which he had to have because that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So he got that special from his dad as a...
It's the power of love.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So he wanted that to go to this party, show up with the coolest skateboard, coolest kid in town, 2 extra buttons undone, and he ate shit hard as he hit a dirt patch, which flung him into said ditch, throwing the football down thump, 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 beside him, and he's just laying, looking up at the sky underneath the trees, seeing the grass stain and scuff mark in his nice shirt, and just, fuck, I don't have time to go home, man.
So, yeah, and in Virginia Beach, ditches are deep.
Yeah.
It's a flood zone. Virginia Beach is below sea level, so if it rains, it literally pours and all the neighborhoods flood. So they have these massive ditches that are concrete at the bottom, but the water rises pretty high. And the football's kind of gone down, and it's rolled into the ditch. It hasn't quite gone into a sewer, but the football is headed in that direction. While you are down in the ditch, that's when another group of kids are coming by, and you recognize them. They all attend the other high school. Like, they all attend Colonial Forge. You go to Salem. Salem's the big high school. That's where most kids go. But the kids at Colonial Forge are very proud of their school. It's a little harder to get in. They zone by neighborhoods, right? They're in the wealthy neighborhoods. They're, lifelong, fourth generation citizens of Virginia Beach. They're not this ragtag military folk that come and go. They are not transient families. They all see you down there. Normally they wouldn't be out this far, but this is what they do. So they see you down there. They're like, well, if it isn't the local tight end for the dirtbag trash tier football team of Virginia. Good one, dude. And then they like high five each other and then back and forth, the bud slap. And they have like the most ridiculous skunk hairdos.
Mm-hmm.
It's style, man. In fact, I'm going to do one. I'm just, hey.
The burnout haircut.
Yeah, that's actually an improvement for me. So yeah, they sort of see you down there in the ditch. They go, "What are you doing in the ditch?" Yeah, he's in the ditch.
Yeah, no, I'm in the ditch. Like, I'm in it. I know. What are you doing here? You gonna help, or are you just gonna point and be stupid?
That's a nice skateboard. Give it to us. Yeah.
No.
Give it to us.
No, I'm not gonna do that. It's mine.
What?
I said
He
no.
wants to step. And then the big loudmouth one goes down into the ditch. What do you do?
He quickly gets to his feet, and he says, "Oh, okay, this is how it's gonna be." So I just hit the big one, the big stupid one, and then the rest of you go, and you scatter like the rats you are, right? Cool. Okay, let's go. And he like squares up with the big guy.
You notice as soon as you square up, he looks like he's seen King Kong.
Oh.
And he's like, this is your chance to clearly sucker punch him if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Are you going to?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's not a clean fighter. He's gonna
Again, he's like a member of the Ellis family. So so this is going to be like body and
force. Trying to
yes.
smash him. All right, cool.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's see here. Let me pull up this character sheet. Force. 0 successes. I rolled 6 dice and I have 0 successes.
You go and you punch him clean, and you notice like he wasn't even looking at you, and then like his eyes just turn and face you. Then he turns, he wipes the blood from his lip. He goes, "Oh, we're gonna make you my prom date," and all the boys begin to jump on you. They don't really hurt you.
Yeah.
What they do, wrestle the skateboard away from you, and then they just kind of hand it off to each other, and they start taking off with it. Like, you're not even like, you're relatively clean. He's definitely, his lip is busted and it's bleeding. He's gonna have a mark, but they got your skateboard and they're taking off. What do you do? Now your football's still down in the ditch, and the water is starting to take it. There's like a light rain forming, and you notice the rain, as it hits the concrete at the bottom of the ditch, it begins to, it's almost turning to ice, and it's turning to ice rather rapidly.
So he sees the football, and he knows that, like, quarterback's going to show up with the football because it's cool, right? But like, he just had this custom ordered skateboard, and his dad's gonna kill him if he doesn't come back with that thing. So he like takes a glance over the skate at the football.
You see 2 small hands.
Oh, gross!
Tear into the football, and and begin pulling it into the sewers. These are tiny clawed hands, and you hear a faint hiss.
I don't know what that was.
No.
Okay, and he starts to scramble up away from that, up the berm of this this embankment, to see where these kids are running off to.
All right. You notice that they're passing the football to a car, and the biggest one being 16. He's got a license and keys, and they've thrown your skateboard in the back, and they're starting to take off.
Yeah, he's just going to chase after him, knowing that he has no chance of catching up to them before the car takes off. He's just chasing, get back here, you douchey towny wastoids! Come back here! And he's just chasing down the car.
And you're running too, and there's people. They see them, and in fact, you run past the library where Dara just sort of doesn't even look, but you hear the familiar cries of Max.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Always talking about someone's butt he has to kick. So you are in the library, and you are currently on duty while the local chess club is playing. It's officiated by Dr. Sam. Dr. Sam works at the high school, but it's highly unusual for a doctor to work at a high school. He clearly works at the high school, though, and he's brought a new student to chess club. And has Dara studied chess before?
Yeah, she's read books on strategy and such, but never really had anyone to play against. Yeah.
Like capture en passant. Yeah, it's one of those things. She plays chess with Max, and she does this capture en passant thing, which looks really weird if you've never seen it before. And Max is like, that's not how the pieces move. She goes, it does if you know the rules. And he's like, "Arr!" And they fight back. That happened with me. I argued with my younger brother for like an hour over some weird chess thing. But I know this turns into Grant stories from the 80s, but that's why we're... sorry, guys. It's a new game. I got to relate it to myself. So there's a new girl. She has the shortest hair on a girl that you've ever seen. It's very short. It's almost like a Morrissey cut. But she has quite feminine features. Her eyes are the darkest, deepest brown you've ever seen. She wears no lipstick, and she's dressed wearing a very plain, skirt, just dark gray skirt that comes down about 4 inches below the knee, gray top, and she has a really pretty bow in her hair that is perfectly placed. Even though her hair is like a short Morrissey cut, there's still like a little spot for a bow. Dr. Sam has introduced her to the group, and she has played every member of the chess club and has beaten at least all of them 3 times, and she just seems to be going through this very easily. It gets to the point where nobody even wants to play her, and she just kind of goes and sits by herself, and she pulls your favorite book in the library off the shelf and just starts reading it quietly. But you notice she's reading it quickly. What's your favorite book that's in the library?
The Shining.
Ooh, yes. And she's going through it quickly, and every now and then you notice that it seems like she's swatting flies away from her head, but there's nothing in the air. What do you do?
She would grab one of the chessboards that are left on the side for practicing and bring it over. May I join you?
She speaks up. She goes, yes. A game? She points at it. Her English seems a little fractured, a little broken.
I've never actually played anyone before. I just read a lot of books, obviously.
Oh. Okay. And she takes it, sets up the pieces for you, and she explains it's your move. You're on the white side. So if you could make for me a mind comprehend roll. And so you got a success. You figured out which pieces to move first, even though you haven't played with someone. And you notice that you are playing quite well. And you notice she hasn't looked up from the book. And you notice now she's playing and you're winning. She has a second chessboard that's down next to her that she's also playing as well, where she's just playing by herself. And she hasn't looked up from the book. She goes, "You play very well." And you win the game. And she closes the book. She passes it to you. She says, "It's a good book, no?"
Look at the last page. The tick marks are how many times I've read it.
She's like, she goes, "Yes, I counted 946." And she has counted the tick marks and she knows that. With that, Dr. Sam has called an end to Chess Club. He's like, "All right, kids, for those of you that are attending this gate party tonight, remember it's a time to have fun, safety. You don't have to wear helmets in the skating rink, but you probably should." And he looks right at you, Dara, and he points his finger, and it almost draws a straight line to a very tiny scar that your hair kind of hides from when you were 3 and you were skating like a champion, but fell and got clipped by a larger kid, like a 5-year-old. And you notice Dr. Sam. Yes, Dr. Sam makes it. And then the girl speaks up. She goes, "What is name?" "Your name."
Dara.
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 Dara. Dara.
I have a friend. It's Dara. Dara.
Friends are good, no?
Mine are weird, but they're good.
At least you have them, she says. And then she leaves, and you notice she leaves with Dr. Sam. As they're leaving, you notice he kind of looks around. He opens the back of a van, and 2 men in gray suits pick her up and put them in. And that's when you notice, and the sun's going down, the sun's starting to set. And you notice the black hooded man who sometimes follows you home is watching this from across the street. You almost feel like he's also watching you. You can't see his face. What do you do?
She's going to pick up one of the bigger books that she can find, or one of the larger books, but like thin enough that she could throw it and chase after them. One of the shittier books that they have multiple copies of.
She's chasing after the car people?
Oh yeah, she's gonna throw a book at them.
Okay.
It was against her will, right? Like it looked like it was. Like
it totally looked that
way. Like kidnapping. Yeah, she's gonna run after them with the book and try to throw it at them.
All right. So you run back there, and you get there, and you throw the book. So make a body force check. Is it body force?
Mm-hmm.
You get back there, you see it, and you're there, and you're just gonna pelt them. And you throw it. The book hits Dr. Sam in the back of the head, and you hear him go, "Ow, son of a biscuit eater!" And he turns around and he sees you. He's like, "Tara!" And you notice like they're very carefully like buckling her into her seat. They put a very a safe, like she has to wear a little helmet when she drives. And you notice the 2 individuals, you can see they're wearing like medical badges. Like they're like helping her very delicately, almost as if they're helping like a very small, like special needs child that has like a bone condition or something like that. And you notice like he even has like a little tear, like a tear of rage forming in his eyes. And so he looks at you. Disappointment.
There was a bee. There was a bee behind you.
He goes, "There was a bee behind me, and I'm looking right at her." And then he goes and gets.
I don't have a stinger. I'm not classified. Oh, okay.
Yes. And like And like he gets in there and he like kind of pouts. And just, he's having a hard time starting the car. Do you tell him how to drive a stick? Yeah, and then he goes, "Thank you." Starts to drive off. He literally feels like kind of like betrayed. You were one of his favorite students. You know, he wrote your letter of recommendation to help you get the job at the library.
Hit him with a book.
And he got hit with the book, and it did look like a kidnapping. And you're sure it's like a kidnapping, and he drives away. The man in the hood begins to walk towards you. You don't have your large throwable book anymore. What do you do? He's tall. His shadow, he's backlit by the street light that just comes on, and his long, thin shadow reaches and stops just before it touches you.
She's going to pull out one of her pieces of paper that she keeps in her pocket with her notes and start a fire with her magnifying glass on it.
That's very difficult to do at dusk. Yeah.
She's going to nope on out of there.
Okay.
She's been training for this day.
Yes. She starts taking off and, starts running with perfect form. She has been training for this. And we now move the camera as she starts taking off to Lorry. And Lorry, you are getting ready for the skate party, and you need to look better than you've ever looked before, because Mark is going to be the DJ there, and there's also rumors that his band is going to perform.
It's big.
All my clothes are all over the floor, absolutely everywhere. Can't.
Yes.
Like,
put on what smells fresh. Doesn't have to be clean. It just has to smell clean.
Look, I've narrowed it down to 3 t-shirts. There's the latest Guns N' Roses album cover t-shirt. That's and she's kind of, there's one with a unicorn on, and a cross through it. And then there's the third one is just the standard kind of AC/DC t-shirt, which is Mark's favorite band. So she's kind of erring towards that one and looking. I think she finally settles to that one to change.
Okay, so she settles on that one. Her dad's like, "Hey, it's Tic Tac Taco night. We're going to Tic Tac Taco."
I'm busy. I gotta go.
Yeah, with us, and we're headed to Tic Tac Taco. It's Thursday, don't you know? South of the border.
Okay, I'll be right there.
South of the border.
I climb out the window.
No, and he's like going to reach for your feet. He goes, hey, and he kind of gets you, but this isn't like you're resisting each other just yet. He's like, Lorry, look, you got to give me one good reason to cover for you and let you skip Tic Tac Taco night, because your mother, she's just we're on the rocks.
She won't even be there.
But she said she would, and she wanted us to be there together, and you have to be there. She's gonna eat dinner with her.
She said that the last 20 different times, and she's never been there. So...
And I have a 21 strikes and you're out policy. 21 strikes, not 20 strikes.
That's great.
I need
my
this.
strikes up.
Look, you're my little girl, and I don't know where we went wrong. I blame the grass, but speaking of grass, what's that smell? Oh, it's just hot dogs. You always pre-game Tic Tac Taco with the little hot dogs.
Obviously, everyone knows.
Couple-day-old wieners.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, anyways, if you can give me one good reason to go to this thing, I'm not even going to ask. I don't want to know. And when you come back, I'm not going to question your virtue. You are virtuous, right?
Sure. Yes.
Good. Because I don't want Father Abernathy to be asking me questions about you again. He asks a lot. I can't stand the man. And I'm sorry I got upset at you. You just understand that, times are tough. It used to be easier when Mom was around, and now you have to make a choice. Are you going to tell him that you're going to the skate party to see Mark, or are you going to embellish it that it's something more important than that?
She'll embellish it.
Okay. Go ahead and let me know the lie that you're going to tell him. What is more important? And then I want you to make a heart charm roll. And if you fail this, you're going to take a condition. So a condition will affect you. So you're essentially going to become just a little upset at his patheticness and probably shatter him a bit on the inside. He might do bad things. He's done bad things before.
She's kind of just standing there. She'll look up. I have band practice, and there's the game on Sunday, and we were really
the
hoping
game.
to get some
Band practice.
time in.
Music. Music's more important than family. You go play music. You're going to be a big star. One day there will be variety shows, and you will be on them. Star Search, 5 stars. Lorry Namer.
That's the dream, Dad.
Well, you keep on dreaming. Now you go out that window, and I don't want to see you till 1:30.
I imagine you keep on dreaming. Get your Tic Tac Taco night, damn it!
Yeah, and he's just like, and I'll order some Dominoes. And what did you get? Any successes? 0 successes. And you notice, you can tell the look on his face. He's telling himself lies, and he's trying really hard to believe his own lies. And with that, he says, now, if you need me, I'll be in the bathroom. He goes into the bathroom, and the door shuts, and you can hear it lock. You just hear the shower turn on.
She falters for.
And with that, I'd like to know where the gang meets up next. So, where do you guys meet up before you go to the skate party? Everyone goes to the skate party.
How close is our hideout?
Your hideout is like a neighborhood and a half over.
Okay. Perhaps I mentioned that place behind the supermarket where my dad's working. Maybe if that's closer, perhaps we could briefly meet up there, and Greta could have organized some drinks from her dad for everybody.
Absolutely. Cool pop. They're only recently expired RC colas.
Only recently expired.
They're still good. They won't hurt you.
Yeah, they couldn't sell them even though they put them on a ridiculous discount.
So you all meet behind the shopping center, the grocery store. It is a farm fresh. That's very common. There's a lot of cardboard. There's some old milk crates and things like that just kind of strewn about. There is, of course, a ditch, because there's a ditch everywhere in Virginia Beach. This one actually has like a long chute going down from the back of the shopping center. And it goes down. The one Max fell down into is maybe 8 feet. This is more like 25 feet. So it's a long kind of steep slope going down into there. And I want you all to set the stage for me. Who shows up first? What kind of condition do you all show up?
So Max shows up out of sheer convenience because he was chasing the car in this direction.
Yes.
And by the time he gets there, he's sweaty, his shirt's dirty. He says, oh man, you know what? I'm just going to take it off. It's probably cooler that way anyway. And he starts to unbutton his shirt, and he takes it down. And he's doing like the one finger hold over the shoulder. He's like, all right, well, like I need like water to like wash all the sweat off me. So I'm just going to get water. And he starts to head into the store.
As you're coming up, I'm so waiting for like Greta to hand you like the bottle of Sprite, and you're just like and pour it all over you. You're just like,
Yes, as he comes closer, the back door opens and you hear Greta just saying, "Okay, thank you, bye, Daddy, love you." And then she comes out and her arms full of those soda cans, and is, "Oh, hey, Max, you okay?" And the washing machine talked to me.
No, it didn't. And no, I'm not okay. My skateboard was stolen, which is like the worst that could ever happen in the history of ever.
I'm really sorry. And
Yeah,
she
no, that's
puts
fine.
down two of the cans and gives him one of those, but she keeps one, and as she keeps talking and gesturing, she has still one of the cans in her hand and really keeps shaking them around and eventually gives him one.
Can I just have the... Listen, could you just...
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank
But
you.
no, it really talked to me. I'm really sorry about your skateboard. It was new, wasn't it?
No, it was. Like, but washing machines don't talk. Anyway, yeah, like these kids from the next town over, they took my skateboard.
They do. Yeah,
No, they
sorry,
don't.
continue.
No, it's more important. My skateboard is missing. It's got stolen. They drove away in a car. You believe that?
Morty comes out of the back of the store too, and he has some more pops, and he has like this really awesome, but not awesome, giant like hat from a strange and foreign country. Greta, I'd like you to describe this hat to me as he places it on your head, as you know, like trademark apparel, like a signature thing. And he's like, my dad brought it back and I thought it would look awesome on her. And then he pops in little plastic vampire teeth and he's like, I'm part of the club now.
Okay, you said strange and foreign because when you said hat, I was
Yes.
thinking sombrero, but that wouldn't be really...
It could be a sombrero. It could be one. I had one in the 4th grade. I got it from
Okay, then let it be a sombrero, and
With
but
all the
it has
the
to be
dangly
yeah,
balls.
with all the dangly things. But there has to
mariachi,
be
three amigos,
some-
right out of the
Yeah, but there has to be something special and hideous about it. It's covered
It's
in
got a squirrel on
sequins.
top. Okay, it's covered in sequins. I was gonna say it like has a ceramic squirrel attached to the top. Some like hideous creature. I don't know.
Honestly, I like that better. So you have a little bandage sort of around, and then there's somebody stuffed
Yes.
Taxidermy squirrel.
a taxidermied squirrel on top of it, and the little squirrel, it looks like it came from a mariachi band and has little those, what do you call them?
Those
What do you
little
call them?
diddly
And
bombs.
Yeah, and Max immediately punches him in the shoulders. Like, just leave her alone, man. Like, whatever.
I think it's cool.
No, you
He's like,
don't.
"It's
Shut
from my-"
up.
He's like, it came from Dad's store, and Dad's store is awesome.
It's not awesome, and your dad's super lame. And Greta, you don't have to wear that. He just played a joke on you.
My dad's not strange. He's
Wait, did he? I think I missed it. Did he put the hat on?
Oh,
on
yeah,
her
he
hat?
put the hat
yeah,
on you.
he put the hat on your head because that's what hats are for. You know, there's a light rain. I gotta keep your hair dry. You gotta make sure it's awesome.
Oh, she thinks that she still has one can of soda in her hand, and she's flailing around. Is this Krill still there? Is this Krill still there? This is amazing. Look how the tassels.
Yes, it's so cool. And right about then, Lori's going to show up. Now, how does she show up, and how awesome does she look tonight? The skate party. What does she wear to the skate party?
She's got the AC/DC t-shirt on, with kind of the black boots, kind of work boots, not even bothered with trainers, and some kind of really tight jeans because she couldn't find any others. But she's actually brought her guitar with her because there might be an opportunity to play later. Mark might need a guitar. You never know.
You never know. He might let you play with his band, his rumored band that's going to play there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Dream come true.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Hi, Lori.
Hey.
Still shaking the soda can.
Yeah, and Morty's like, ha 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 ha. AC/DC
Yeah,
is
awesome. The whole reject squad is here. Great.
there. Wait, she's not
Does your friend want a drink?
She
She just can in Greta's hand.
Hey, Lori, did you know your hair looks just like Cher? It's amazing. You have the
And
best
very
hair.
quickly, Greta grabs one of the cans that she had set to the side, and she gives that to Lorry. And then she gives Morty the one that she's been holding in her hand and viciously shaking. But
Oh no!
Yeah.
And he goes and pops.
Lorry
He's like,
stands back.
she come in the face. She's like, how cool is that?
I
He's
know,
like,
I'm
this
sorry.
horrible, like, snort laugh. He goes, no, it's totally cool. I love drinking soda through my nose. Like, it's the new thing. And he like tries to like gross out the girls to impress them, and that's when Dara shows up. And as soon as he sees Dara, Morty's kind of your nemesis. Like, he's a bit of a brain, but he's more arrogant and uses trivia. He doesn't actually study. He's not street smart, not book smart, just annoying. He uses words inappropriately. Like he says conspicuous instead of conspicuous. He like, yeah, he's self-taught.
It's worse than being dumb is thinking you're intelligent when you're dumb.
Yeah.
So she's run all the way here. So she's just trying to act everything out, and you just hear the heavy breathing. There was a guy. They were kidnapping a girl, but it wasn't kidnapping. And I threw a book. I hit Dr. Sam, and
I know. Are you okay?
there was a guy, and then his shadow was like woo, but he was still back there, and I ran here.
And they take the hat and say, "Look at this squirrel. I think it will make you feel better."
That thing's dead. It's not doing well.
I'm sorry, and I just dropped the hat. So many weird things happening to all of us. Like Max, there were some kids who stole his skateboard, and then what did you say? And then there was the washing machine. The washing machine talked to me. It says, "Find them," or something like that.
Who's them?
I don't know.
I don't know. Washing machines don't talk.
But there was a little child. He saw it too.
I almost got kidnapped, I think. That guy who's been following me, Max, he followed me during the day, though. During the daytime.
It's probably just like a random guy that just is around.
What? No guys would follow you, Dara. No guys would follow you, Dara.
That's right. Morty's
Dara,
right.
Dork. Dara the dork.
But he chased me.
Did he chase you, or did you
I
just
went
run
around the
away?
same block twice. He chased me.
I mean, are you sure it was him?
I know I know that we're working really hard to get your grades up, but you can't be this dense.
Yeah, but
You don't
like,
have your body mat. You can't.
But
be
how
this
do you
dense.
know that it was the same guy?
So Greta, this guy was following me. He was chasing me. He's just completely.
Yeah, and Greta is like, "Why won't you just believe us when we tell you something?" And then she turns back to Dara and she's like,
She's a
and
dork.
what happened next?
Why would anyone chase her? Doesn't make any sense. She's not even pretty.
He follows me every night, and then I get to my house and I lock the door so he can't get in. But like I he could be outside. I don't know.
Did you steal something?
I threw a book.
At him?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why he's chasing you then. That makes sense.
What did you throw at him? Like,
Well,
how to
it wasn't
chase
at him, it was at
girls,
someone
like,
else.
Girls. And Morty's really starting to get on your nerves.
Greta's gonna pull out a can, shake it, and open it in his face again.
Is Greta or
To
Dara
cool
doing
off.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, you snap your fingers and Greta does it, and just she knows the drill. She's like, "Look, we've done this before. We've handled ourselves around streets."
Dara's like, put it on my tab. Put it on my tab. Oh, good for it.
You notice there is a gray, long, full-size van slowly driving back behind the shopping center. It's not like any you've seen before. And it turns on its headlights that flashes them at you kids. What do you do?
Max walks over to it.
He's walking over to it.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Roll the window down. A pale-faced man with hair like a terrifying scarecrow and a crooked nose kind of hangs his head out. And got a question for you.
All right, you're like lost, man. You need directions?
Yeah, need directions.
Okay, cool. What's up?
Do you know which way to the Kimsville Family Skating Center?
You got like kids in the van, or
What do we look like? Perverts?
That's not something you should ask a pedophile if he is one.
yeah, you look like perverts. Your whole everything about you just screams, "Bro, I'm a pervert."
All right, you're real funny.
Thanks, man. That's pretty dope.
Next time I see Captain Maynard, I'm gonna let him know his son is hanging out with young ladies inappropriately behind the shopping center. Is that clear? Maxi pad.
I mean, like, that one's my tutor.
Likes it.
That one's my tutor, and that one's Grete, and that one just hangs out all the time. My dad.
Grete
knows
is
them.
half hiding behind Dara, by the way.
My
We're
dad.
familiar with Ms. Lowe and Ms. Namer. We're familiar with everyone.
Yeah.
In this.
So why do you want to go to the party?
To creep on kids. Obviously, look at that van. I just saw a girl get kidnapped in a van.
Thank you.
They kind of smirk at you guys, flick the cigarette over at Max. It lands, on his chest, kind of hot, falls right off though. And then they slowly start driving away.
Grete would try to see if it has a license plate.
While she's doing that,
Nope, no license plate.
Dara's just giving her a 90-degree angle.
Now, Grete, you notice there are tears in a lot of the cans of soda, almost as if they've been clawed and they're like drained. They're spilling out. And you notice about 5 or 6 small creatures with little clawed hands running down the ditch. Like there was like a 20 feet incline. They're going down the ditch. What do you do?
Do they come from the cans that I brought? Because I think I brought just 5, or the ones that Morty brought?
There were more, so probably I'd say about 3 or 4 of the cans look like they've been torn open.
And it happened just without that I heard anything, like them being torn open.
You guys were distracted by the sound of the loud hoop-de-jank van. But you definitely noticed these creatures. They kind of quietly punctured holes, tried to tear them open.
Stupid question, have I ever seen something like that? What exactly does it look
You
like?
had a book. If you had to guess, they look like little tiny dinosaurs.
So okay, since I'm a little bit freaked out because I look, but I take one of my crystals and I sort of holding the crystal in front of me. I approach them. Are they fast?
They're going fast because they're going downhill.
Hey, you guys, what are you? Hey, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you coming from? You can talk to me.
They're hopping down the ditch. One of them kind of turns around and it sees you. And you notice your crystal.
It's a warding crystal just in case there are mean.
Describe it to me. So what type of rock is it, or gemstone?
Honestly, it's just a stupid old rose quartz. It looks like a roughly. It's not neatly polished or anything like that, and it's in a copper setting. It's quite heavy actually, so she could swing it and actually use it as a weapon if she were that type of person.
Lorry, you here's a question. Does Lorry have any piercings?
Yes.
Right.
Whole
Describe.
host of them in arrays. So she'll have like 3 sets running up the side, much like mine. She's got one at the top, rebelling, because her father said she couldn't have it. So
She starts to feel the earrings pulling and her ears start to pull. It's actually kind of painful and uncomfortable. And she hears her electric guitar, which has no plugs or anything. It's not battery operated. Turn on. And it's like vibrating. And it's pulling towards these small creatures that you see. They're kind of studying Grete and her stone. The rest of you can see this if you turn your head.
She has her magnifying glass. She's like,
No! Hey!
Guys, no.
That's that little dumb thing. Hey, you shit, where's my football?
Oh, you've seen one of those before?
Yeah, I had my skateboard stolen by some dweebs, and then this guy stole my football. Bring it back.
They look, they see Max, and they start taking off down the ditch.
Oh, man. And he starts running
you
towards the
scared
ditch.
them off.
Well, he stole my shit.
they have good instinct. I would run too.
Yeah. Clearly, you ran from that guy. He's probably just trying to sell you something.
So,
Not
what
buying.
do you kids make out of this?
Laurie's still inspecting her guitar because It's her prized possession.
After the creatures ran off, the guitar turns off and your piercings stop pulling towards them.
I think we should just go.
Hey, nerd. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Do you want lessons or not?
I mean, like, not really.
I'm not writing your English papers anymore. No, I've never seen anything like that before.
It's like tiny dinosaurs or something?
It's Dara.
Okay.
Wasn't it Dara last week?
Greta changed it.
Fair.
Dara's
Shut
better.
up.
Morty's there. Yeah, and Morty just kind of sticks his head in this conversation he really should not be a part of.
Shut up.
Are you still here?
Fine, I'll go. I'll just go, and I'll hang out someplace else.
Yeah, go change your shirt, you sticky mess.
Cool.
You don't even have a shirt on, Max.
No, I don't have a shirt on, but his shirt's sticky. Mine just got grass stains on it.
You know what? Yours is too. And he like takes the rest of his drink, like splashes at you, and like runs off in like a panic. And he runs the most ridiculous fashion. It's like he's a dog swimming in water but above ground, and he's like he's like a Muppet dancing. You know, he's like
That running form is not efficient.
No, not at all.
And so Greta gets up and she puts the stone, the crystal back over her hat. By the way, she's always wearing an a knitted ear flap hat, no matter how cold. Well, if it's cold anyway. But,
yeah.
well, no, she dropped the sombrero at some point because she doesn't quite like Morty.
She
like,
dropped the
she doesn't
sombrero.
really, yeah, she dropped
Did
it.
you take the squirrel off first?
No, it's been taken by the dinosaurs.
Damn it.
They took it.
What?
And so
If you dropped it, they would have taken it.
So Greta finds the whole thing weird but extremely interesting, and to her it's just one more piece of evidence that the time is getting really close when she will, when she turns 13, be able to see beyond the veil and see what is really going on in this world and things like that.
Seriously, we're just not going to discuss the gremlins? We're just going to...
Yeah.
We're just going to ignore that.
They were cool.
They were pretty cool.
I don't think they were evil. I mean, they came really close to the crystal, and if they would have been like bad influence, they wouldn't have done that.
That's a rock. They're in my driveway.
It's not just a rock. I'm sorry, Max, I have to say that, but sometimes you're really limited in your worldview.
Yeah, but
Just
my
about
whole...
then, a security guard comes out the back of the grocery store, and he's like, hey, you're not allowed to be hanging out back here. Guys, get out of here.
There was a creepy guy with a van.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. And you should stay away from them. That's why you don't come back here. This is where the creepy guys with vans hang out. You guys gotta scram.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hi, Greta. And he's like super nice to Greta. Your dad says hi too. You know, he's standing at the door.
I say hi back.
You guys really got to get out of here. We're not allowed to have kids hanging back here. We have rules and authorities, and
They sound dull.
they're the best. Rules are what. Look, I'm not going to give the speech to you kids. I know I'm a bit of an authority figure, and he like tugs up on his belt, and you know his out of shape kind of slightly overdone it body. He's like, and y'all might be a little bit scared of me, and I might not come off as cool, but I'm just saying, you kids stick in school, you kids go home or go someplace else. You cannot be here.
Can I have a glass of water?
Sir, your aura, it doesn't look so spiffy today. You should do something against the stress.
Yeah. How about running you off? And he pulls out a walkie-talkie. He's like, "Yep, there's 4 of them."
Guys, I think we should go.
So it's a no on the water then. Okay. All right, that's cool. No problem.
As we start
Boy, and Greta, you hear a voice on the other side sounds somewhat familiar. It kind of sounds similar to the washing machine voice. So you heard. And kind of
Dun, dun, dun.
to the security guard. What do you do?
So he's talking
He
on
pulls
the.
off his glasses too. He goes, and he reaches and he pulls out sort of like a black baton, and there is a purple glowing button on it. He goes, "Really gonna have to ask you kids to leave, like now."
She looks torn because she wants to find. Well, so you said it's the voices that are coming from the walkie-talkie that sound very
Yes, he's
familiar.
turned off the walkie-talkie now. His glasses are off. He's starting to walk closer. He goes, "I'd hate to have to make an example out of that young man over there."
She just stares at his walkie-talkie and just fades out everything else around her.
He's starting to walk over to Max. Now, this guy, he's at least like 3 of you wide. He's a good foot taller.
Mhm.
He's a sizable man, a very large gentleman, and you can tell that he has ill intentions if he does put his hands on you. And you can tell he's not afraid to. This isn't 2017. This is the 80s. This is when people hit kids as discipline.
He looks up at him and he goes, "Oh, listen, man, we're gonna get out of here. We saw there was like a creepy van, and then that kid you saw running away, he splashed me with soda. You just have like a cup of water. I just want to like get this off of me." And you can see that he's got like sticky drips of like the brown syrup from the RC Cola. He's like, that's it, man. Just need like a cup of water. Get this off, and then we'll be right out of your hair. Is that cool?
He gets really close. He's chewing gum, and were you gonna do something?
Yeah, can I try to charm him to give me this glass of water?
Yeah,
Cool.
go right ahead.
2 successes.
All right, so you succeed. He goes, "You go down to the end of the road. There's going to be a house.
Yeah.
You can wash up in there. Nobody lives there. The doors aren't locked. And I've seen you kids go in and out a few times.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
Okay, cool.
But he says that's where you're going to get your glass, and that's where you're going to get your water.
All right.
And
Makes sense. All right,
now,
nice.
do you understand? But when I talk to you, young man, you respond. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Thank you. You may go. And then he sort of turns, and you notice as he turns around, like his back is covered in back sweat. He's, pants are ill-fitting. Kind of walks as if he has a pair of car keys in his shoes, just kind of an unnatural hobble. And he goes back into the farm fresh from behind.
Oh, I hate that guy. All right, so I got to go to the house and wash this off. Does anyone want to come? Or you guys are just going to meet at the party?
We'll meet you there.
Are you going to dive in the hole and chase the gremlins?
Grete continues to stare after that guy, and even after he vanishes back inside.
Greta, what's wrong?
I think I know the voices. He, when he was talking on his walkie-talkie, I've mentioned that my brother's been up to weird things lately, and those weird voices that I keep hearing coming from his room at night. And it sounded a lot like what I just heard coming from the walkie-talkie. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
No. But nothing you say makes sense.
And she takes a crystal again to just get a feeling for the area. I don't feel any bad vibes necessarily coming from him either. Maybe we should just go.
Morty's coming lousing back, and he's got like a whole bucket of water he's bringing over for Max. He's like, "Man said we're not supposed to be here anymore," and just starts waltzing back, lurching.
Yeah. Give me that water real quick. Like he plunges his hands in and he just fucking...
Like 80s weird 80s shower scene. Do it. Morty washes beside. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
and he skated like he never
So,
skates before.
Do you go, since you have this water, are you going to head to the house, or are you going to head to the skate party, or are you going to go into the ditch to investigate the small creatures?
Max wants to leave and go to the party, but he'll do what everyone else is doing. So guys, are we going to the party or what? What are you doing? What's happening?
Sure. Mark will be there. Let's go.
Dara, you're the leader. What do you say?
That guy sucks.
Since when?
Since we talked in our group, we had our group discussion who the leader was. We said Max thinks he is, but it's actually Dara.
No, but I thought that was.
Dara, you're like a sweaty mess. You coming or not?
First of all, I am not perspiring. I'm fine now.
You ran all the way here.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Greta, what do you want to do? I don't want to go in that ditch. We don't know what's in there.
Maybe
I
they're
know.
party goblins, and you can find them at the party.
You think?
If you saw
Okay, let's go to the party.
Orly would like music.
I'll come back with you tomorrow, Greta, if we don't see anything there. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Thank
later out.
Okay.
All right, cool. Do you want to look around and make sure no one's chasing you?
Do you want to go shove this book up here? And she just pulls another book out of her bag. Puts it
And
back
Greta
down.
snickers in the background.
You're the worst. You're the worst at parties. You don't bring books at parties. What a nerd. All right, let's go. Let's go. And he still has the shirt hung over his shoulder. He's just walking shirtless through the streets to this party.
All right, you're walking through the streets, and you're walking. It's a few blocks to the Kempsville Family Skating Center. There is a large crowd in front of it. This is the happening place. There must be the entire school here. And I'm curious, I'd like you to set the scene for me. How does your group make their entrance into the skate center? There's kind of like a cashier that you have to pay to go first, but since this is school night, all you have to do is show your school ID.
Max makes his entrance as far away from everyone else as possible. And he like shows his ID, and he walks in. He's like, "All right,
Shirtless, just like,
cool."
oh yeah.
And he immediately starts talking to as many people as possible, just so that it puts as much distance as he can between.
You
those
notice
people.
they're like, dude, you don't have your wheels on yet. And they're like, you go over and figure that out.
All right,
first.
okay,
You can't
That's
talk
cool.
to someone without wearing skates at the skating rink.
it's fine.
It's uncouth.
I was gonna hang on the bar. So
I want you to describe your, and these are your usual. So describe your usual skates to me.
yeah, these are not his at all. These are in fact like rentals.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
rentals.
Yeah, so they're they're black and they have like moons and planets on them to go with like that theme when they turn all the black lights on and have like the space skate. They're the black light ones, so he gets those, and like you can tell that they're like the ratchet straps on them are like they don't click all the way. So he puts his foot in, and they click out a few times. Like, this sucks. I don't have my own pair. This is dumb.
How does the rest of the group make their entrance? Lorry and Dara and Greta. Ah! I just unplugged my mic.
You're good.
Are you guys still there?
Yep, we're still here.
Greta would stick to Dara, and then just look around, sort of taking everything in with big eyes.
So yeah, I just ripped apart my streaming rig accidentally.
Well done.
I guess I'll see you guys, but like all my monitors went out and like all my screens went bouncing. Everyone's like, "Oh no!"
Well done.
Yeah,
But Lauri's very excited to be there, so she'll like probably be the first one in. Like she shows her badge.
oh yeah, and you notice
Grabs
like
skates.
Mark's in there too, and like Mark's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Wow, you're like totally going to do this skate party thing. He's at the DJ booth.
Greta in the background is nudging Dara.
At least he's better looking than Max.
You think?
Max, is he better looking than you?
In Max's opinion, no.
Well, Max's opinion's the real one.
It's the real opinion, yeah. Like it's all that matters. It's basically like Tom Cruise, Max, everyone else.
Max can't play guitar.
Or read.
I know most words, okay?
I never learned how to read.
Look, I know the important words, all right? That's what matters.
Like your name?
Yeah.
Mark's like, hey, if it isn't the pad, hey, how's it going, dude?
Oh, I hate you so much.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like laughs it off. He goes, hey, so you gonna skate with any cool dudes during the couples skate?
Are you single?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, bro. The rest of us here.
Oh, you're right. You said cool dudes.
The rest of us here
I
are
got it.
triple
Right.
digit IQ. You're kind of
Okay, sure.
the doubles, right? Hey. And that's when, like, you notice a guy, like, there's another guy you can't quite see. You can only see his silhouette, you know, through the glass. It's kind of like a one-sided mirror. It's hard to see him. You can see Mark because he's at the booth. There's someone in the back. You notice a large, brutish hand kind of come up, touch his shoulder, and a sunglasses man kind of leans in, whispers to him. He goes, oh, sorry, dude. Sorry. Didn't mean to play it.
That's cool. No, you know, it's cool that you listen to your boyfriend like that.
Lorry is elbowing, like, repeatedly.
You're ruining this for me! You're ruining this for me!
What's your problem? Where's your shirt?
It's right here.
He's like, you can see his
Holding.
nipples, and like,
Yeah.
he's like, we got a shirt and skate policy, dude. We're gonna have to ask you to leave, and like, he seriously asked you to leave. He goes, yeah, you're gonna have to.
I'll just put
Get
the
outta
shirt
here.
back on. It's right here. I'm literally holding it.
Dara, you notice Dr. Sam has come in with young Monica, and he's like, look, Monica, this is a skating rink. She just kind of nods and looks around. He's like, children come here to skate. And she's like, one would assume so. Now, the rest of you have never seen it. This is a very pale-skinned girl. She has very short, boyish black hair with a very delicate bow placed in it. Greta, you are feeling intense bad vibes coming from her.
Dara's like, that's the girl. That's the girl I thought they were kidnapping. It looked like it. And we went outside, and then they weren't. They weren't kidnapping her at all. And I threw a book at his head. He's probably still mad at me.
So what is going on?
She's really weird. She's nice.
Well, we are weird. Well, I am weird. At least that's what people say.
There's something off.
You are weird.
Fuck off, Max.
And sort of Greta sort of moves back into the crowd and just tries to get closer to the girl to get a feel for her aura.
You notice she's lacing up her skates, and as you start to get closer, she looks at you and gives you a death, like, icy stare. And you can feel like intense hatred, not necessarily for you, but for the world as she finishes lacing up her skates. And then she takes to the rink, and she's like an angelic being on the rink. Like, she is skating at a level much higher level than you would expect out of a teenager or a high school student.
This is gonna be
We're
good.
talking like Olympian level as she just starts to very gracefully float through the skates. But you notice after she goes around twice, a large burly dude with a busted lip and really skunkish hair trips her and clips her skate. She goes falling, she busts and smashes the side of her face on the rink. She reaches up and it looks like, you know, one of her teeth are chipped, and her nose is possibly broken. It looks like she may have fractured her orbital bone. This was a bad fall. And the guy is like laughing so hard. He's like, yeah, she biffed it. And you look over. He's on skates, and he's got, like a Dexter dude with this overwool coat and a wife beater underneath it with other skunkish hair, who's holding a certain skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
and everyone sees this, and it like stops. Like the music's still going. They're like playing Monster Mash or something lame right now, because that's Mark's like, look, you got to bring back the classics. You got to, kids love this music.
I think
and Lauri's like, it's so cool and goth.
I think the moment that this guy makes himself known, that draws enough attention that Maxie sees, he's like, oh, that's the shit that took my board. And he doesn't have his skates on yet, but he takes his baseball cap and he spins it back around. So I'm using my iconic item. He plants one hand on the railing and leaps over with shoes on into the skating rink and runs over, and he's just gonna bull rush into this guy.
Now, describe to the audience like the bonuses and benefits you get from using your iconic item.
So yeah, whenever you activate,
dice, right?
yeah, whenever you activate your iconic item, you get +2 dice. So basically, it works is you roll a number of dice equals to your attribute, which for this is body. Then you roll a number of dice equal to your skill, and then if you use your iconic item, which I think you can only do once per session, you get a bonus of +2 dice to that as well.
All right.
And then I think the way dice work is anytime you roll a 6, it's a success. So when you roll multiple 6s, you get bonuses for like if the stronger the attack is. So yeah, he spins the hat backwards, plants a hand on the railing, leaps over it, and he's just running through people to plow into this guy with his board.
And
Greta follows him, but she's going for the girl to see if she can help her.
So is Dara. Yep. She's like, I never do anything bold. Here we go. And then going over the railing.
Now, what's going to happen to you, Max, if you don't succeed?
The same that happened to me last time. This guy's going to kick my ass, probably in front of people.
Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty bad. But you succeed, so you go over to him, and I want you to describe to me how this looks. What exactly are you trying to accomplish here?
Cool. Yeah, so he, like I said, he spins the hat back. That's the shit that my board. He puts his hand on it, jumps over, and he's just like clomping through the skating rink, the wooden panels of the skating rink, and he just like barrels down and shoulders into this guy like he is one of the practice boards in football.
Yes.
And he plows into this guy and knocks him to the ground, and he gains the position where he's like on top of the guy, and he just punches him in the mouth again.
Kids are starting to break out. They're like, fight, 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 fight. Maxie Pat, Maxie Pat, Maxie Pat, Maxie Pat. They're all getting into it. And like Morty's like, he's like the cheerleader leading the pom-poms. He's just like, yeah. And that's when like the geek dude turns and like punches Morty and like starts to bellow him over. How do the rest I just saw that Dara's favorite song is Space Oddity from David Bowie. That's when like the lights start to go down and like the classic 1969 David Bowie original single starts to come out. Ground control to Major Tom, and like the disco ball starts to go too, and it starts to go down. And as the lights are doing it, ground control to Major Tom, she starts to notice there are men in trench coats, at least 2 by every exit in the skate rink.
Who notices that?
And put your helmet on. Like this is like going on. Like Dara notices all this.
So I'll look over to Greta. Let's go. And she's gonna jump over, and we'll go together, and we'll go help this girl up. And you see me pull out of my bag all of the maxi pads that I've been taking off of Max's shirt all day on the back, and I'm just using it to like as gauze to try to like soak up some of this blood and help her up. It's doing its job. But she'll do that, and then she looks around and sees this as she has this pressed against this girl's face.
You notice as you're doing this, like it's like it feels like her body is cold and lifeless at this point. And Dr. Sam's like running up. He's like, "Stay away from her!" and like kind of picks her up.
So she's unconscious?
Yes, she is very clearly unconscious, most likely concussed. And you notice as you were cleaning up the blood from her face, It's a very dark, unusual, almost like slippery substance. As he picks up her body and almost like a puppet, it drops in his arms, almost like it just all life has gone out of her system. And he kind of looks around, and he runs towards two of the men in trench coats. They open an exit, and he goes and he carries her body back into a familiar-looking, long, gray, full-sized van.
She'll show the pad to Greta. Greta, look at the exits. What are we gonna do?
I don't know. There's so many of them.
Where's
And
Lorry?
then she. I think she was still at the entrance. And Greta will actually sort of dip her finger into this blackish, bloody, whatever it is, and sort of see how it behaves.
Yeah, make a. This is going to be a
stupid idea roll.
like a mind calculate. You're trying to solve it.
Okay, so it's where is it?
Investigate or comprehend.
Or comprehend.
Yeah.
Or investigate. Yeah, I don't know what all these things are.
And so
You're gonna get asked
investigate.
2 questions.
Can I choose? So
Yes.
investigate would be fine as well.
Use your highest one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was.
I realized there's so many columns to my cheat sheet.
8 effing dice.
Not a single
of
one.
them.
You should be used to that, though.
Like, you look at it and you're like, this doesn't have the answers, and you crumple it up and like put it in the garbage can, and you're like, the crystals have the answers. So like, you're like misdirected. You're like, you don't feel this should be solved with science. This should be solved with spirits.
Yeah, and I'm obviously frustrated because that goo doesn't give me any answers, and then I'm clutching the whole time. I've been clutching my crystal since that girl gave me that death stare, and I look at Dara, D, and I say, that girl, you're right, something is off. She seemed really angry, like not at me, like at everything. And I mean, if I were just put in a van like this,
I think it looked like they were kidnapping her, and then when I went outside, I don't know. And she just gets on all fours and is looking at the ground where the blood is, and she's using her magnifying glass to try to investigate it.
Oh, you definitely walk right up to it, and it's in a puddle next to this large, brutish kid who's like getting like beat to death by Max. Not even to death. I mean, these are like hammer fist on the nose. You couldn't kill someone with beating him like this, but you could definitely make him ugly. And he's like going Donkey Kong on him. Meanwhile, like Morty's getting roughed up by like 3 guys, but he's like, yeah, don't fear the Reaper. And like, he's like moving like Gonzo or something. I just, Morty means that he's a Muppet. And he's in there. And right about then, Coach Caldwell blows his whistle. He's like backlit, the disco ball's still going. He's backlit by a spotlight. He skates out to you guys and like, do you stop fighting when you hear Coach's whistle?
Yeah, as soon as he hears the whistle, Max stands up and stands next to the kid.
Yeah, and like all the kids that go to that school almost stop. And he's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with a little tussle, but a serious ass kicking, that's off limits. And he goes, come on, Max.
I need this
and he
first.
slips an envelope over to Dara. He's like,
I need this first. And he reaches down and he picks up the skateboard.
I imagine she has a magnifying glass and she's looking, trying to figure out what this blood is, and she's like, oh. Like a sketch ball.
While that's going on and like the envelope with money going to Dara, he's like, it's a note made out of dollars because he's not so slick. With that, he goes, let's get out of here, guys. And you notice there are no more trench-coated men at the exits. Now, Lorry, you have to make a choice. Are you going to... Mark says, hey, it looks like your friends are going. You going to stay here with me? Or are you going to go out to those guys? I think they need your help.
Yeah, I suppose.
But hey, make sure you come back here because our rhythm guitarist didn't show up, and we may need someone to fill in. I know you've been practicing.
Poorly.
Can you do it?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Like playing it cool. Just through.
You do a pretty good job playing it cool. He goes, "You're not even a little bit nervous? Not a little bit? Whole school's watching."
Nah. I've been practicing. I got this.
"You're pro!" And he claps. He's like, "Man, you're so cool, Lorry, man.
But
It's a shame I'm like 37. No."
You want to hang out my band later?
His wife comes up later. "Hey, old married man." "Creepy Mr. Mark. He's your anchor." Yeah, so
like, yeah.
are you going to follow the rest of the group going outside?
Yeah, she'll kind of. So
Okay.
I'll join up with them like immediately, but like outside. So
Yeah, the rest of the group, you get out there just moments before Lorry does, and you see a familiar-looking sombrero in the middle of the parking lot. There's the large gray van, which has blue lights. Now, Greta, this is the same color blue that was coming out of the washing machine earlier. It's like flickering in the windows. And the sombrero's sitting there in the middle. And then you just hear a loud voice. It's like Dr. Sam. He goes, you're going to go, "Fine, then go and get the hat." The back of the door opens, and you notice 5 small creatures. They look like little dinosaurs creeping up towards the hat, and they kind of
Hey, you! Stop it right there!
Stop it.
And I did actually take the squirrel. I have, by the way, Greta is always wearing an oversized women's blazer, obviously, which ridiculously
Shoulder pads.
huge shoulder pads, and she and her ear-flap hat. She runs over, and her crystal outstretched again, and the squirrel, the taxidermied squirrel, in the other. "You cannot separate these two. They have something going on. Go back."
You start scaring them with the squirrel?
Yeah, both with the she's sort of waving her crystal in one hand and then the squirrel in the other hand.
Dara's behind her in like a karate position, like between her and the hat.
Kill Bill, Uma Thurman, Bruce Lee.
She's got the magnifying glass and then the chop in hand.
Max, how do you respond to this? You see like 5 dinosaurs, or little velociraptors.
Yeah, he has his skateboard now, so most things are right in the world. And he sees me and goes, "Oh, see, that's what happens. We didn't talk about the gremlins, and now the gremlins are back to steal your hat again."
That's the grabby van.
And
They
it's a
go up.
light. It's a light that came from the washing machine. I told you guys it was real.
They snatch the hat,
Can I
and they
swat
go
it?
running back to the back of the van. What do you do? How do you stop them?
Can I swat at it before, as it gets close
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in between? Oh, I'm gonna try to like
By them.
putt this thing.
Make a body force check.
Ooh, this is gonna go well. Hey, yeah.
You
Success.
do. You swat it. So describe to me how this looks when you swat it. How do you swat them?
So she's got the one hand on it. She's got the karate chop in hand.
Yes.
And she didn't see that one sneak past, and it's about to grab it, and she goes over and just 2-hand, 4-hand swings it, and just like it goes flying. She just
it's like its body, like almost like a sack of old socks, just goes lumps. I'm curious how Lorry responds to this. She sees like 5 little velociraptor creatures. One of them just gets knocked, and then the other 4 look really mad and vicious, and they're starting to like howl.
one day the thing from outside she just kind of grabs one as it kind of flies through the air. She's going to try and catch the one that's
No
flying.
Jurassic World stance.
Crouching tiger, hidden Greta.
You hear your trademark guitar start to fire up again.
She looks at them. Stop trying to play it. I've got to play later, and if it's out of tune, you.
So the other four run up. They try to snatch the hat, and now they're just taking off for the back of the car. At least one of them has the hat now, and they're running to the back of the van. So
Greta throws herself after it, basically trying, let's go for Crystal and the squirrel and just does a full body dive to get the hat.
all right, so we'll go ahead and make this a force check to stop it. Body force.
Sorry, what kind of check?
Body force.
The second one.
Oh, up there. Oh, yeah. No.
Mine was a 0 too, to be fair.
You kind of like F it, and like you just smash and land, this is like more of a gravelly parking lot. It's not very smooth, and they get it, and now they've gone to the back of the van. Now the doors are open, and you hear Dr. Sam say, what took you so long? And then he kind of looks out, and he goes, his eyes get big when he sees you guys, and then he darts his head back into the van.
Can I throw another book at him when he pops his head out?
Yes, as soon as it comes out. Body force. He catches
rolling
the book.
really well, guys.
He catches the book and he goes, imagine the late fees you're going to have.
Joke's on you, that's my book.
Oh, God.
All right. So you hear, it sounds like loud drilling coming from, and the lights are flashing brighter and brighter. What do you do now?
So these gremlin things, these tiny dinosaurs ran towards the back of this van.
Yeah, they ran and they jumped into the back. Now, the van is lateral to you. You can't see what's in the back of the van.
Yeah, and Dara, you said that this is the same van you saw the person get dragged into.
The girl. Yeah.
And it's a light that came from the washing machine.
But the hat.
That
he
doesn't
gave you the hat.
exist.
Who gave you the hat?
Greta, that is not real.
Then explain to me, how did the sombrero come here, huh? I just took the squirrel.
The gremlins brought it back.
Morty looks too. He's like, wait. Huh? And he goes over to look to the back of the van.
Oh, God, someone kidnapped him.
Morty, get the hat back for Lorry.
And then
We're
Greta
having a hard time, guys.
Oh, fine. And I go over there. Max goes over there to see what the hell Morty's doing.
All right, you look in, and Morty's grandpa Rick is in the back of the van. He's like, Morty, what are you doing here? And, his hair is all everywhere. And then Dr. Sam's there. They appear to be, like, drilling new eyeballs and new jaws, and they're, like, filling in holes and, like, bondoing and sanding down this poor girl's face. And it looks like they have cans of oil, and they're replacing filters and fluids into her. And it also, you notice, like, Monica's kind of in pieces, and she's being pieced back together. They're like, he's seen too much. And then they slam the back of the doors with Morty inside, and Morty kind of places, plasters his face on the back of the window, and he's like, as they drive away. And that is where we will end the adventure.
Good news, good news. Morty gets kidnapped, and that girl's a robot.
No, I don't think that Morty was in it, though. Or did I miss it?
Yeah, he jumped in to see what was in there.
He got pulled in.
His grandpa's in there.
Oh, okay.
There's got to be a part 2.
Spaced out as Greta.
So that was a crazy madcap adventure in Tales from the Loop, which is straight out of Grant's actual childhood. He was actually Morty and got kidnapped by someone building a robot.
No, I just want to know what those little gremlin raptors stand for. Grant, tell us, what do they represent?
Or
how do you really feel about them?
Put the moon crystal to him. How does this make you feel?
If you want to know, I lied when I was in like the 5th grade, and I was like, because like Jurassic Park came out, and I was like, oh yeah, I've totally made dinosaurs at my house, and like I told all the kids, they're like, and they couldn't figure out if I was lying or I was telling the truth, because they're like, well, he is pretty smart. Could he actually make dinosaurs? I don't know.
So it sounds like we have to have Grant and the rest of the cast back next month to finish up this this one-shot adventure and make it a two-shot. So let's go around. I think it's, like I said, it's everyone's first time in this system. So we'll start with you, Grant. Who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of your first foray into Tales from the Loop?
Well, hey, my name's GrantREllis, and I'm an independent content creator for tabletop RPGs. I really enjoyed the book. I literally had to come up with how to run Tales from the Loop with about 2 hours prep. I'm sorry, guys. And that includes looking at the rules and everything. But I really wanted to participate in the stream. I really wanted to help with charity. A little bit of, if you are getting into games, whether it's on stream or not, I think it's okay to learn the rules. You notice the players were making suggestions well, maybe we use this skill, which was super helpful. And I think if I was to do this again, I'd look a little bit more at conditions. What I did to help me prep for the game is Adam Coble ran it on stream. He ran a one-shot on stream, and he actually recorded his Game Master prep. And he is actually a very prolific game designer, so he talks through what the rules want you to experience in the game and get out of the game and why they're designed that way, which was super helpful. I watched that this morning while I did my own prep. I just wrote down a bunch of weird ideas of things that I liked. I wrote down mind-controlled dinosaurs, painted man, Russian spies, robot girl, just sort of things, and that all the technologies in the area would start being very erratic. But something I tried to do was also, which is kind of hard, but you really want the players to lead the way and set the scene. And I think I had a lot of fun. I got to revisit my childhood with a lot of local landmarks. I think Virginia actually has a lot of rich history. It's where the first English colonies were settled in the United States. There's a lot of haunted houses and things like that. But there's also a lot of military, government, science, etc. So I think it makes for a very interesting landscape. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you can follow me at GrantREllis. I'm an occasional streamer. I host a show on Encounter Roleplay's YouTube channel called The Story Forge. I'm on this channel every Tuesday on the show Myth Dawn. And I've just been cast in Monday night classic crawls on the Return to Greyhawk channel. And I'm also the official Dungeon Master for the Dungeons & Dragons World Series on Exploding Dice, where we have teams from all over the world competing in tournament-style Dungeons & Dragons play.
Also, I encourage you guys to follow Grant on Twitter because he every once in a while will post about the open mic night D&D, where it's a random mishmash of people that can just jump in and play D&D. Yeah, it's pretty dope. So we'll jump over to xMsGingaNinja. Who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think of your first foray into the Tales from the Loop universe?
I'm xMsGingaNinja. That's my handle for pretty much everything. I run a streaming channel, and I'm here every Wednesday for City of Mist, which is awesome. Today was a lot of fun. I didn't really know what to expect. It took me I changed while we were playing before you mentioned it, my favorite song 15 times. I couldn't decide one.
But I just happened to look at it. I'm like, wow, her favorite song's my favorite song when I was that age. So I was like, cool. I know.
Favorites, yeah. But I really liked playing her. I like the concept, and it's a weird game, but I like it. That's all I got. It's just weird.
Sweet. Petra, this is your second time playing in a mutant system. That's what this is called. So who are you? What are you doing here? And what did you think about the game?
So was it actually made from the same by the same people?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they made a game called Mutant Year One, which is what we played. They have this game, which is their second one, called Tales from the Loop, and then they have a new one in space called GrantREllis.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no. So first of all, hi, I'm Petra, and if I don't torture my students with German grammar, I write stuff, and then I hop on different channels. I've been here a couple of times, and then also I'm every now and then on Encounter Roleplay, and then most recently I was on Grant's channel, Open Mic Night. That was a lot of fun. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm going to put my Twitter handle in chat in a bit because it's P4,000 and I don't expect you to be able to know how to write that. Anyway, I really love this type of RPG where you create the scenes and the world on the fly. I mean, you prepare a little bit, but a lot of it's created on the fly with everybody together, and so everybody can add pieces. And I think that's a lot of fun. And then also all the flashbacks to childhood. Although, no, in case you're wondering, I was not into crystals and and hippie stuff as a kid. I was a kid that I did think that I could communicate with animals, and I was a kid that experimented on insects and collected animal bones and stuff like that.
Now, here's a question. Was Nina Hagen's 99 Love Balloons your favorite song?
Nina Hagen is a different. She is the queen of punk. But no, frankly, I'm not even sure how much I was aware of 99 Luftballons, also the German version of that. Yeah, no, I don't know. But anyway, I had a lot of fun, and I'd be totally up for running a second round of that to see what the hell is going on with that girl and those little...
The coin-operated girl?
Operated girl.
And last but not least, Huggles, it's not your first time here, but it's your first time not playing D&D on the channel. So who are you, what are you doing here, and what did you think of Tales from the Loop?
I'm FreeHuggles, also as Salt and Sassy Gaming. I like Tales of the Loop. It's very different to D&D, which is kind of my standard. It's a lot more freedom in it, which I love. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how it goes second time.
Sweet deal. Yeah, so that wraps up the second game of our 12-hour stream, Tales from the Loop. We are coming right back in a few short minutes with more 6 and 20 Metropolis, which you can see me on Wednesdays, GingaNinja on Wednesdays as well. You can also see the show on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Video Store Cowboy and Not So Speedruns, respectively. This is a one-shot in the same universe with all different characters, so stick around and stay tuned for that. And from all of us to you guys, we'll be right back. Bye-bye.